All right, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Today is Thursday, April 10th, 2025, and this is the time and place for the second day of the regularly scheduled Nevada Gaming Control Board meeting for the month of April 2025. Before we get started, I'd like to ask everyone to please silence your cell phones so we don't have any disruptions during the meeting. And may I ask that you all please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Secretary, has our agenda been posted in accordance with Nevada open meeting law?
Yes, it has.
All right, thank you very much. Today we'll be covering the remaining items noted on our agenda from yesterday and including our items all for today. So, Madam Secretary, let's present the first item, which is public comment.
This item is placed on the agenda to give the public an opportunity to comment on gaming-related matters. Anyone wishing to address the board may do so at this time. Comments by each person are limited to 3 minutes as a reasonable time, place, and manner restriction. If board members ask questions of the speaker, the time needed to address those questions will not count against the speaker's 3-minute time period. If speakers have any handouts or written copies of verbal comments to provide for the record, please hand them to the enforcement agent in the room.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Pursuant to state open meeting law, matters brought to the board's attention during public comment may not be acted upon by the board, but of course, we always want to hear comments from the public as well as comments from my fellow board members. Let's first go to Carson City. Is there anyone in Carson City wishing to make public comment this morning? Seeing none, let's go here to Las Vegas. Anyone in Las Vegas wishing to make public comment, please step forward. Seeing none, Madam Secretary, that will close our public comment portion of the agenda. Let's move forward with, I believe it's non-restricted item number 17, correct?
Correct. Non-restricted number 17 are the applications of Stephen Olvera for licensure as a key employee as noted on the agenda.
Good morning. Morning, Mr. Moran.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman, Judge Assad, Member Sendall, Madam Executive Secretary. I see the Deputy Chief also in the back. Good morning, J.T. Moran with the law firm of Hutchison and Steffen, representing the applicant on non-restricted number 17. If it pleases you, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to start off with an opening statement on this particular item, just to give the board some color as to which direction we're hopefully going, and then would like to sit back and hear what the board feels is relevant in terms of question and answer. Reserve a little bit of time for that. But good morning again, Mr. Chair, Judge Assad, Member Sendall, and Madam Executive Secretary. This is J.T. Moran again with the law firm of Hutchison and Steffen on behalf of the applicant, non-restricted item number 17. This item is for Stephen Olvera's application for licensure as a key employee at 4 non-restricted and 2 restricted gaming locations of Eclipse Route Operations LLC, doing business as ECL Gaming. Each location is in the Las Vegas area. We are requesting approval of this item subject to a 2-year limitation, or in the alternative, we are requesting the referral back of this item for staff to conduct further inquiry if necessary, depending upon the conversation and dialogue that occurs today. I'd like to first thank Supervisor Bradford, Agent Lauren Potter, Agent Tan, and their colleagues for working with us to move this matter forward expeditiously. Mr. Olvera originally submitted his application in 2022. And since then, he has done his best to answer all requests from the Gaming Control Board staff in a timely and accurate manner. We'll now discuss the 4 primary areas of concern, if that's okay, Mr. Chairman, relating to Mr. Olvera's application, which include and are limited to his prior alcohol usage, several incidents relating to his family, his fiscal and financial suitability, and the late filings of his application. First, regarding his prior struggles with alcohol, Mr. Olvera has been completely sober for the past 18 months. Mr. Olvera is an active participant in the Narcotics Anonymous 12-step program, which he attends 3 times per week. He has been appointed to several leadership roles within the organization, including a role as representative of a group he helped to co-found called Keep It Simple. Mr. Olvera recently took a toxicology test, which confirmed he is clean from any of the tested substances in that toxicology report. Also, Mr. Olvera is in the process of interviewing with a drug and alcohol counselor and or family therapist to help him work through his past struggles with addiction. I am confident he is taking all steps necessary to stay on the path to sobriety. Second, the investigations division was concerned, rightfully so, about two particular incidents involving Mr. Olvera's family. I will not go into the details about the incidents to protect the confidentiality of the individuals involved, but the investigations division and you, members of the board, are well aware of these issues, and we're happy to discuss these items on the record wherever you feel it's appropriate. Third, Mr. Olvera has come a long way in the past decade to get his personal finances in order. He has shared all documents requested by the board's agents about his personal finances, his student loans, both student loans of his wife and him, taxes, and several other financial related items. He and his wife is also present here in the audience, are on track to make payments toward these student loans that are outstanding, and they are sharing best efforts to get those things resolved, timely so. He shared his monthly budget with the GCB agents when asked. Mr. Olvera is aware of the heightened level of regulation that is required of the gaming industry in Nevada, and I feel he is prepared to handle the financial responsibilities of being a key employee at these 6 gaming locations, for which he would be responsible and has been responsible for the last handful of years. The fourth concern was that Mr. Olvera's applications were not filed timely or by the 60-day deadline for the condition of approval to have a key employee application filed. Mr. Olvera's application for each of the 4 non-restricted locations was filed 17 days late. And for the restricted location, Jackpot Joni's DW, according to ECL's gaming records, Mr. Olvera's application was filed but was in need of an amendment. The NGCB received the fully amended application on August 3rd, 2023, which was well after the date of March 2021 for the restricted location Jackpots Joni LT. The previous key employee quit October of 2024, and Mr. Olvera's application was then amended to add this location, which technically was filed on March 14 of 2025. I will address these, or I'd like to address these issues of compliance with the key employee conditions in more detail when discussing Mr. Winchell and his gaming entities, but I'd like to reserve that, if that's okay, to after we have our discussion with regards to the key employee and the key employee's suitability, both personal and financial, and also his business probity to be a key employee here in the state of Nevada.
Mr. Moran, I appreciate that, but I think let's flip it around. Let's handle the late filings first, and then we will get into the questioning of Mr. Olvera. So if Mr. Winchell, if you want to come forward. As you know, Mr. Moran, these late filings, they happen. We understand that. We're in the government business of receiving a lot of paperwork, and licensees have a lot going on, including compliance. But usually when we see late filings, they're a few days late, maybe a couple weeks sometimes, and there's usually a reason. In this situation, a couple of them involve Ms. Choi's tragic passing, and we've dealt with that with other licensees, as you know. And again, those were a few days, a few weeks, and maybe a couple months late, but usually compliance at the non-restricted location was able to say, obviously, we understand Ms. Choi passed away, very tragic for her family, her clients, but usually somebody picked up on it quicker than here. This situation, there was several of them, and one of them was more than a couple years late. And why don't you, either Mr. Winchell or Mr. Moran, tell us what you've done in terms of building a compliance program to be sure that we don't have any of that in the future.
Excellent. No, that's a great place to start, Mr. Chairman, and thank you so much. So Mr. Ron Winchell has ownership interests in multiple entities that hold restricted and or non-restricted gaming licensure. Mr. Winchell's entities mostly operate in Nevada, including ECL Water Street LLC, which is our 2 non-restricteds in the city of Henderson Class 1 locations, And then we have Eclipse Route Operations LLC doing business as ECL Gaming, followed with our northern operations, the Northern Route, the Bullies locations, ECL NNV LLC. He also has gaming interests in Wyoming, New Hampshire, and Kentucky under ECL Entertainment. We operate HHR machines on the East Coast and have been doing such successfully so for the past few years. Mr. Winchell understands there have been issues with compliance, especially regarding conditions of approval for the timely filing of key employee applications. Mr. Winchell is certain these issues will not happen in the future because of, one, the hiring of a senior director of compliance for the company, the master company, the global company, and two, the expansion of ECL's Gaming Compliance Committee to cover all of Mr. Winchell's gaming entities, including those in the states that are not as rigorous in terms of the compliance requirements as the state of Nevada is. Just making sure that we have consistent, compatible, and harmonious policies and procedures across all of our gaming operations in the United States. ECL Gaming acknowledges, Mr. Chairman and board membership, that it has had imperfect record-keeping processes. ECL Gaming has been working with Jeff Donato of Argentum Law to fix these records and put systems in place to ensure future compliance. ECL Gaming has been updating their key employee records and related documentation, including management and organizational hierarchy charts. Your agency, investigative division, has copies of all those, and that's been reconciled so that your database accurately reflects who is a key employee at what specific location and what was the requirement in terms of the 60-day condition and who's going to be submitting for a location that doesn't have that coverage as of today, whether a global key employee or something similar in nature. Also, ECL Gaming is hiring a senior director of compliance, whose sole duty will be to handle these. The primary reason ECL Gaming had late filings for the key employee applications of Mr. Olvera is largely due to the unfortunate and early passing of Ms. Serena Choi, as you pointed out, but that's not an excuse. As we know, Mr. Winchell has acknowledged that too. I acknowledge that. It's our responsibility to know what we have to do, and we can't point the finger at anybody but ourselves. And that's all we've done since day one. Is this isn't anybody's fault except for ours. But we're correcting it with those mitigating circumstances that we're going to share with the board and that we have shared just recently. So after Ms. Choi passed away on January 18, 2023, there was some difficulty retrieving certain documents. Doesn't matter, we should have had those in our database, and we're making taking the necessary measures to make sure that these things are not issues in the future. And I believe that your staff would say the same thing in terms of where we are today. There's not a lot we can do with what happened yesterday or the day before, or even several years ago, but there's a lot we can do today on a go-forward basis. And we're here to let you know that we've made the necessary changes. We're taking this very, very seriously, whether they're technical violations or they're substantive violations. The bottom line is that a licensee in the state of Nevada has no excuse to any type of violation, and we're going to make sure that we're strictly compliant on a go-forward basis. An issue with a few locations, just so you know, and to kind of fill a few gaps, Mr. Chairman, was that ECL Gaming misunderstood that when a key employee application is filed, any existing key employee at the location does not also remain as a key employee. They are removed from the position. ECL Gaming now knows that when an additional key employee is added to a location, the previous key employee at the location does not remain as a key employee, and the person is not automatically reinstated in the board's records after a subsequent key employee left the position at the location. And the change in the position is what's important for the licensee, because when somebody is promoted, it automatically issues that 60-day requirement. So it can't be, well, we promoted, but we had a global key in place. It's, we now know that when we promote, we have 60 days to get that key employee in, and the prior key is no longer existing. And we have an obligation, an affirmative obligation, to also notify gaming and gaming investigations as to how that goes down. And we've sent over to Supervisor Bradford and your team at the agency. They have all of the information. They have a contact list of the individuals that are keys at the specific locations. And we have, like I said, coverage for all of our non-restricted and restricted locations. So as of today, I believe that we're in full compliance. In fact, we have another item on the agenda, and I'll wait to discuss non-restricted number 18. But you'll see that we have a key employee that has already come in. We've submitted that application. We have corresponded with applicant services to make sure that it was a complete application, because what I think happens a lot of times, and not to digress, but I think that when we stamp the application and we send it in, we are thinking that the application is complete, but sometimes the application isn't complete by your all standards. And those are the standards that matter, are your standards. And so even if we left the check out for $500 on a filing fee, the application can't be considered complete with board services until that $500 is in place and that file gets assigned to an investigator or an agent. So we know that, and we have been late on several occasions, not just this particular item, because this has been something that's happened on multiple locations, but I can say today that we've fixed it. And we're taking measures to make sure that this doesn't happen ever again.
Thank you for that, Mr. Moran. The key to this is that you fixed it, right? And that's what we want to hear. We can't fix what happened in the past, but what we can fix is the future. And I think you said you're in the process of hiring a compliance officer.
Yes, we've interviewed leadership, Mr. Winchell, Mr. Falcone, and our general counsel, Lori Bamford, for the company has interviewed, I think, 5 individuals, and we've gotten down to 2, both known quantities in the business. I'd rather keep their names off the record because
Sure.
they probably have other obligations if they don't get the job. But both people, I've looked at their resumes, and they are a lot smarter than I am. So I think that they'd probably be a very good fit for the organization on a go-forward basis. But the key employees are important. Also, leadership positions in the company. Mr. Winchell has hired a new CFO. We're coming forward for licensing for the global company, and also a new chief operating officer that's hit the ground running. And those 2 leadership positions are filled, and we have applications. Mr. Donato could probably speak to that if necessary, but we have applications being fabricated for the COO and CFO as, again, additional keys and officer director suitability for those 2 positions. Our current COO, we're going to continue moving forward with him. He's in your investigative department as of right now. His name is Jason Villafana. We're moving him to a chief development officer's role with the company because the company has grown so rapidly in the last year or 2 years and has gotten so big that adding these top tier leadership positions with people who understand gaming, they understand the demographic in gaming, they understand the landscape in gaming, and most importantly, they understand what compliance means in privileged regulated gaming. So I think that these hires are also going to really help with the company kind of right size everything that we're doing currently that we weren't doing 3 or 4 years ago. Again, we've gotten very, very big, very, very quick. And then the last item, Mr. Chairman, aside from the compliance officer, aside from these new leadership positions, because all of our efforts are being spread very, very thin because of all of the opportunities that are being presented in the marketplace in the United States and on a global basis to Mr. Winchell and Mr. Falcone. But we're also expanding the Gaming Compliance Committee. So if you will remember, the approvals earlier 2024 for the 2 non-restricted class 1s out in Henderson, both Emerald Island and Rainbow casinos, there was a condition that we had to form a formal gaming compliance committee. And we did that. And then, Mr. Chairman, you administratively and by the rules, approved that in January of this year. For the past year, we've been holding quarterly and ad hoc meetings. We've been considering all different types of issues that a licensee should be considering, from AML to premises liability to financing and the notifications that come with those types of engagements, financial engagements. And so we're expanding it from just those 2 non-restricteds to kind of an umbrella over not just all of our Nevada operations, both in the north and the south, but also Wyoming, which has become a very, very big business endeavor and it's been a very, very fun place to do business, but also New Hampshire and in Kentucky. And so our Gaming Compliance Committee, I reached out to your CorpSec unit to let them know that we were unsolicited, wanting to expand, and just kind of had some questions for them as to what they thought would be the best course for doing that. The easiest course, I guess, the course of least resistance. We're all trying to be electricity, I guess, in the 21st century. But so we've reached out to do that, and I'm really looking forward. I can report back as chair to the Gaming Compliance Committee for the 2 non-restricteds that things are going really, really well out there in Henderson. We've been busier than we've ever been out there, and we've got a great management team in place, and we're considering our Title 31 requirements and BSA requirements and AML and KYC and all those acronyms that are fun to deal with on a day-to-day basis and important. But it's just been great. And so being able to expand that and kind of having that ad hoc Gaming Compliance Committee impaneled for the last year, it's helped us with trial and error in terms of what we should be considering. And because without having redundancy and lots of eyes, sometimes you miss things here and there. And I think that's the most important thing on our agenda every time is to look at the things that we may miss because maybe it's just the idea hadn't come up.
Thank you, Mr. Moran. Let me turn to you, Mr. Winchell. So Mr. Moran said you're very close to having a compliance officer, compliance person in place. That person will be over non-restricted and restricted. Is that your understanding? If we have applications that need to be filed?
Morning, Ron Winchell.
Push that button there.
There we
Yeah,
go. Good
thank you.
morning, Ron Winchell, ECL Gaming. Correct. To answer your question, that would be over all that. Primarily the Nevada operations to begin with. And, in relation to this kind of a conversation, I think, whenever you have an incident, you change your standard operating procedures. This is a big function of changing those operating procedures and, the goal here is so we don't have to have these conversations again.
Absolutely. That's the goal on this side as well. And so for the record, someone will be in place that the buck will stop with them. Ultimately, it stops with you, but the compliance person will be in communication with our applicant services to be sure that if there's a condition requiring an application to be filed, you'll have a full-time person that they're keeping a calendar of that, correct?
Right, correct. And that'll actually make our jobs a lot easier. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, great. That's important to me. And as Mr. Moran said, there's a new compliance plan in place, compliance committee in place, primarily for the non-restricteds. But if you have somebody like that that's also watching the restricted location applicant timing, that's important to me. And as I said, I'm more focused on going forward. The fact that you're spending time and hiring people and creating a compliance committee, I feel more comfortable that we won't be having this conversation again, Mr. Winchell.
Yep. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Anything else on that, Mr. Moran?
Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Board members, anything on the compliance and the application issues?
Thank you, Chairman Hendricks. I would just like to echo your concerns and comments in that regard that we get these issues all the time for late filings. And the important thing is that they are taking corrective measures and moving in the right direction to see that it doesn't happen again. So I'm confident that Mr. Winchell and Mr. Moran will implement a procedure and a process with a tickler system and computers and a new compliance officer and whatever it takes to comply and make sure that this doesn't happen moving forward. So I'm on board with you in that regard. Thank you.
Member Sendall?
Thank you, and I appreciate the explanation and you guys being here today. I want to get some clarity though on what you have different various restricted and non-restricted locations. Do you have an overall company that kind of holds all of these that will be at the level when you mention of getting a new COO and a CFO and then also the director of compliance? If you could just clarify that a little bit.
Right. So those are all kind of housed under the route company, Eclipse Route Operations. And that's kind of the master entity, if you will, because it handles the primary functions of all the gaming aspects. And then, some of the locations operate in different LLCs, but they're, going forward, we like to operate under the space lease format just because it simplifies everything and keeps the gaming under one entity.
Thank you for that. So then that director of compliance will be really over all of these.
Overall, that under and operating within the Eclipse Route Operation entity. Yes.
Understood. And it doesn't sound like we're moving towards a condition or anything like that of that nature, but I think it would be very helpful if you could notify the board and the investigations unit when you do hire this director of compliance person to ensure this way they have the contact information for who they need to be in contact with and form that relationship and to make sure that they're being, notified and in touch with the gaming control board when they need to get applications on file. So we don't have issues where some items get missed. And I appreciate all the explanation regarding this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Winchell.
Thank you. You want me to stay up here? Or?
You can, if you want to support Mr. Olvera's application, you're welcome to sit in the chairs and we'll call you back if we need to.
Okay.
Either way you like.
Thank you.
Mr. Moran, let's go ahead and turn to Mr. Olvera.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And, just a couple quick little things, not to get too far off track, but I will say that the investigation was first class, which is what I expect. I mean, it's kind of sounds like I'm a broken record. Every time I get up here, I say such good things about staff, but it's kind of like it makes our jobs easier when your staff is operating on a really, really high level. It makes us as practitioners operate on that same high level. So we're appreciative of Agent Potter on this particular item, and Supervising Agent Bradford was really, really terrific, as well as all the other team members were really easy to deal with. As for Mr. Olvera, I've enjoyed working with him for the past year or so. I've seen some real good growth with him. And he's here. I know he wants to make a statement today. He has a prepared statement that he'd like to read into the record. I think that's important because I think your investigative staff did a great job of reporting all of the incidents. I don't think that there's any gaps in any of that reporting at all. I think you have all the information in front of you. I know that we geared down to several areas of concern, and I discussed some of those earlier on the record. I can discuss all of them if you'd like, but the three that were really important as it relates to Mr. Olvera.
We got it, Mr. Moran. We have all that in front of us, and you thoroughly set the table here. Mr. Olvera, your attorney has explained everything. As you know, you've cooperated with our agents for quite some time now. We have a very extensive investigative file on you, your background, your personal life, your business life, everything about you. Your attorney has helped set that table. We want you to speak. It's your words, it's your position that we're going to be interested in hearing from today. So if you have a statement, please feel free to provide that, and then I'm sure that the board members will have some questions for you.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Hendrick, Judge Assad, and Member Sindall. My name is Stephen Paul Olvera. I stand before you today with complete wonderment. It is truly an honor to be amongst the Nevada Gaming Control Board. For myself, this isn't just a significant professional milestone. It's the culmination of years of unwavering dedication and hard work. I remember when I started as a barback at the Riviera. My passion for the industry was evident even then. I wasn't just working, I was actively learning, striving for excellence in every task, and demonstrating the integrity and loyalty that comes deep within. My journey isn't a testament of the commitment to, my journey is a testament to the commitment to growth and my ability to consistently succeed expectations. Securing a key employment designation with the Nevada Gaming Control Board would be a truly remarkable achievement and honor. I am devoted to maintaining my tireless efforts, unwavering commitments to the highest ethical standards. I will approach this role with the same passion, honesty, and dedication that I have characterized my career so far. I am committed to improving daily operations, fostering professional collaborations amongst colleagues, and creating a culture of growth and shared responsibility within the gaming industry. All I have ever wanted is to surpass the expectations placed upon me. I intend to protect the integrity of Nevada's gaming industry while continuing to grow as an individual. Today, I believe in myself. I understand everything I have learned professionally and personally will be a great asset to the Nevada State Gaming Board. I want to say thank you to owner of ECL Gaming Operations, Ron Winchell, to Jason Villafana, the Chief Operating Officer, and to my direct boss, Jennifer Lee, Director of Tavern Operations. And also I'd like to thank my attorney, JT Moran. And I would like to thank the agency, Agent Potter, Agent Tan, and Agent Bradford for their hard work, dedication, and putting in the time to work my case and investigate me. That doesn't go unnoticed. And thank you to you guys for allowing me to sit here today and continue this process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olvera. We appreciate you being here. We know this isn't easy. I want to assure you that nobody's here to try to embarrass you. Nobody's here to try to hurt you. We have an obligation to determine if all individuals involved in the gaming industry are suitable. Are they of the type of character, integrity, honesty, work performance, background, history, education that they deserve to be privilegedly licensed in an industry that's so vital to this state? So some of the questions we're going to ask you may be difficult to answer, but again, nobody's here to try to embarrass you at all. Let's start with, how many years have you been at Jackpot Jonies?
I've been with Jackpot Jonies for about 7 years.
And what were your job titles during those 7 years?
During those 7 years, I started out as extra board bartender. And then I gained a graveyard shift at the location off of Windmill and Eastern. I worked 4 days over there. And then when the location at Centennial and Simmons opened, I went over there as a lead bartender to help assist with the manager doing the daily orders, the inventory. And then I got the opportunity to come into management. And that's when I took the location that's no longer with us, was the Trop and Boulder location, and then the Nellis and Desert Inn location. And then after that, I proved myself and I was able to grasp more locations, gain more locations, and have more responsibility. And then I got the opportunity to take on the non-restricted locations. And it's been a blessing to me and a great opportunity.
You've been promoted several times. Do you know off the top of your head how many times you've been promoted?
About 3 times.
And as your attorney noted, we have in our investigative file, you've had some issues more on your personal side of your life. Let me ask you, have you had any disciplinary write-ups or disciplinary performance addressing from the company side of your life?
No, I have not.
Okay. You've acknowledged that you had an issue with alcohol in the past. When was the last time you had a drink of alcohol?
August 23rd of 2023.
Have you drank on the job in the past 5 years?
No, sir, never.
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 So you don't believe your drinking had an impact on your work performance?
I would say that the drinking, like I didn't drink at work. It was always after. Did I come in every day feeling good? No, not every day. I didn't, but I made it through. I left everything that I had to leave at the door for remain professional, and to get the job done. But no, never had a lick of alcohol while I was on duty.
It's interesting because usually when people have a substance abuse issue, it's very difficult to separate personal life and business life. How do you believe you were able to do that?
Just the fact that, my business life takes care of my family, my wife, my kids. That's a big thing for me. Keeping a roof and food for them is one of the big things. And me losing my job or being disciplined and, going down that path to not having one that was motivation for me.
Mr. Moran mentioned that you're attending meetings for your issues, and he also mentioned you have some leadership roles. Why don't you tell us about what you're doing in that?
Yes. So the first one is it's H&I, it's hospitals and institutions. I take in meetings to treatment centers for the individuals who are not able to go out and seek outside meetings. Typically, I'll bring in a speaker every week, or I will do a meeting where it's called the Just for Today meeting. I'll read out of the Just for Today book, and we'll kind of touch on that topic, open the floor up for them, allow them to speak their mind and say anything they needed to say. And then as JT mentioned, the Keep It Simple Men's meeting, I am the GSR, also known as the group representative. So I go to what we call area to bring things back to the group, to purchase or to do the literature orders and give out our medallions and key tags, and just to let everyone know like what upcoming events there are if we're going to participate in any of those. And then for my home group, the fear group, that's Face Everything and Recover, I am the secretary for the 4th week, which I sit up front and I lead the meeting.
How many hours approximately a week do you work?
How many hours a week do I work? I work anywhere from about 50 to 60 hours, 10 hours a day.
And then how many hours a week approximately do the meetings and the things you just described, how much more week hours does that take?
I would say anywhere between 8 to 10 hours a week. I have a good balance between the two.
I've got a few more questions for you, but I want to turn to my colleagues and let them ask you some questions. Judge Assad?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Hendricks. it's difficult for you to be here. I understand that, and I appreciate you being here. It's not an easy thing to go through. I'm gonna kind of rely on my almost decade as a judge, and 6 of those years I was presiding over a drug court program that I had. So I'm very familiar with substance abuse and people who struggle with it, and it's not easy. And I commend you for turning the corner and moving in the right direction.
Thank you.
I also want to focus a little bit on your background. You're 37 years old,
38.
38 now,
Yes, sir.
and you were born in California, right?
Yes, San Bernardino, California.
And where were your parents?
So I lived with my mom in San Bernardino, and then when I was 10 years old, she sent me out here to live with my father. And
Where were they born?
my mom was born in Ohio, and my father was born in California.
And your grandparents?
My grandparents, they're originally from, I know my grandmother, I never met her husband, but she was born in Ohio as well.
Okay. So basically you're living the American dream?
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, trying anyway, right?
I mean, this is it, you know, you
Yeah.
got family, you got 3 beautiful kids, you got a wife who loves you very much.
Absolutely.
You're moving up in the corporate world, so to speak, upward mobility. So I see you as living the American dream, and you've had some stumbles and setbacks along the way with drugs and alcohol. But to me, it looks like you've overcome those, and you are definitely moving in the right direction. I appreciate the fact that you're working with those outside groups to help others, that you're still involved with Narcotics Anonymous, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Good. And you were just drug tested recently in March, weren't you?
Yes, it was Monday of
And
this
that
week.
was negative, that test.
Yes, sir.
And you were drug tested before that, not too long ago, I believe, for another negative test. So I commend you on turning the corner on that part of your life. I think you're moving in the right direction. You've been clean and sober, you said, for what, about 1.5 years or so, 18 months, was it?
Yes, sir. 19 to be exact.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite an accomplishment. That's a long time. And I just don't want to see any triggers that might come into your life now that cause you to, so to speak, fall off the wagon. So I'm hoping that you continue to move in the right direction. You have an excellent support network.
Yes,
say.
absolutely. Yes, I
Your
do.
wife, she loves you very much, I'm sure.
Yes, she does.
Your kids also, there for support,
Absolutely. Can I share something real fast?
please.
So my daughter, the other night when I was getting ready to come here, what I was gonna wear and what I was gonna pick out, she's like, she was on the phone with one of her friends, and she says, "My dad's gonna look like a businessman," you know, and to hear that, it definitely fulfilled me with joy, and that's what keeps me going.
Yeah, that's what it's
So-
all about. And you've also got Mr. Winchell in your corner.
Absolutely.
He's been very altruistic and benevolent in his gestures, and he's willing to take a chance on you. So you also have him as part of your support network, and I appreciate that. I'm thinking that you probably would rather be somewhere else, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this with you, but I think the packet contained by Agent Potter was very thorough and very comprehensive. We know a lot about you and a lot about your past. I wouldn't mind if kind of hearing from your wife, if she would come up and say a few words.
Absolutely.
Good morning. Introduce yourself for the record.
Good morning. My name is Nicole Overa. My husband is Stephen Overa.
Thank you for being here, Ms. Rivera.
Absolutely.
You are going to be an integral part in your husband moving forward. I'm sure you realize that.
Yes.
And can you tell me a little bit about how much you love your husband,
Oh,
how much you
absolutely.
interact with him on these issues involving drugs and alcohol? I know you also had your own issues, so you can truly relate to what he's going through. And then if you want to maybe comment or two on your children and how the whole family is doing now as a whole, because there were some family issues that were in the report that I'd like to flush out?
Sure. I'm definitely with the active addiction, obviously. Our decision-making skills at that time were just non-existent. And it came to a head when we really had to put our foot down and get back into recovery and stay in there. It's just the better life for us to have.
Mhm.
I can't tell you how much it has changed in the past 18, 19 months. And it just feels so good. It feels right. I know my husband is more than capable to do this. He's passionate about it. This is like, it's bringing me to tears because this is something he's always wanted. And he works hard, and he just loves his family so much. We just now, that part of our lives is completely, it's just everything, right? It's how he performs at work. It's how I perform at work. It's how we talk with our children. It's how, the 12-step program encompasses everything. And the support is phenomenal. We get to learn about ourselves. And I think Stephen has done an immaculate job in learning about himself. And he continues. This doesn't stop here. We continue to grow. Like I said, this past 18 months have been nothing short of a miracle. And I don't ever want to see us go back to that, because that's not who we are. That's who we were.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's very enlightening for me to know that. You're absolutely correct that he is a hardworking young man. And Mr. Oliveira, you mentioned that you started at the Riviera as a barback in 2008, but you actually started before that, in 2005, at Villa Pizza as a dishwasher. Now that's at the really, really bottom of the ladder. So, I mean, I appreciate that. And then you move up and you become a laborer. You worked in a construction company doing framing. And then you finally get into the Riviera and you became a barback, an apprentice bartender. And then from there, you move into the Palazzo, where you a barback, but it's a better position for you. And then you got to the El Cortez, where you were a full-fledged bartender. And then you moved up to the Luxor, from downtown to the Strip, which is a big thing. And you were a bartender there. And then you worked at Jumper's Jungle. And then you worked at the MGM as a bartender. And then the El Cortez. And then you wind up with Jackpot Joni's back in 2018, and then you move up the ladder there. So you have a long history of starting at the bottom and working your way up. And that to me is very commendable. It shows that you're dedicated, you're living the American dream, you want to do the right thing. And yeah, you've had some stumbles along the way, but a lot of people have. But the important thing, and the thing I focus on, is that you are moving in the right direction and you have your eye on the ball, you have your eye on the prize. And I commend you for that. And I think you're very deserving and very willing of an opportunity here to become a manager. And if Mr. Winchell is willing to take a chance on you, then I certainly am too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Member Sindall.
Thank you, and thank you for being here. And I guess while Ms. Oliveira is here, I guess if you want to just kind of tell us, where are you at right now? How are you doing health-wise? And are you working and able to support and help the family?
Absolutely. Health-wise has actually been pretty phenomenal as well. As a result of the use, I did go into cardiac arrest, almost lost my life completely. Today, I go to every doctor's appointment. Everything's good. I am working. I do work at Jackpot Joni's as well, 3 days a week, which also allows me to have time with my children, get them to school, and take care of the necessary things at home. It's a great routine. It works, and I don't have to worry about things looking over my shoulder anymore, and or my health worrying about that, or my children having to worry about that, because it was a pretty traumatic event for them. And now they know that we're both safe, and life has been pretty good. It's been very blessed.
I appreciate that explanation, and I'm glad to hear things are moving in a positive direction. And I have a question really for both of you. And sometimes life gets hard, work gets really busy, or children can be very stressful, or finances can be tight. So, with your backgrounds and trying to move forward, a lot of people, and will use substances, alcohol as a form of stress relief. So how do you now, in a positive way, deal with your stress, or if you're exhausted or burned out? How do you, kind of unload, or do you, do whatever? Can you
Yeah,
please
so
tell
no,
me?
okay. I think that, being in Narcotics Anonymous and that being a 12-step program, and building a support group within there, when times get hard, there's always somebody that we can call, including our sponsors. There's going to a meeting. So there's definitely ways to put that aside, and also, hey, stay busy around the house. Take the kids out. There's many things that we can do, then, revert back to that. Like my wife Nicole mentioned, it's not somewhere that we ever want to be again. I think that an eye opener was set in place, and that is definitely stuck with us moving forward.
I appreciate that, and to have that support from your sponsors, friends, families, whatever it may be. And then, also I would encourage you to, I'm not just like get a hobby or do something, challenge yourself, sign up for a triathlon or something, or do something different to get an outlet. So you don't revert back, to those old habits. Sometimes being around other people in a positive way can maybe hopefully have an additional influence and impact on your life. Just wanted to put that out there. How old this work history went back, as the judge mentioned, back to 2005. Is that really your first job then, Mr. Oliveira?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this is your full work history. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about your education. It looks like you went to the University of Phoenix, or online University of Phoenix.
Yes, I went to University of Phoenix. Yes.
But you didn't ever finish. Can you kind of explain? Was it family, work, or?
Just a little bit of both, plus just life showed up. And the life showed up, and I had to be there for my wife and my kids. And it just was something that it kind of got overwhelming. I didn't want to quit that. There's always the option of going back, but life is a much busier today. So if that did happen, it would probably be fully online, if I find the time. But in the meantime, I'm going to continue to find a way and make the payments necessary to the student loan company.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, but I do want to say too, I don't want to, just because you didn't finish your educational degree there, obviously you have a lot of work history, which I think holds a lot of weight. And obviously I know our agents do a very thorough background check.
Yes.
Checked with all your employers. So, kudos to you that you've, have a stellar background at your work. And clearly, like, the chairman and the judge mentioned, you've got Mr. Winchell here and Mr. Moran here supporting you. So that says a lot then about your honesty and integrity and ability to get the job done and do a good job and take responsibility at work. And I don't want to demean that at all. And that's very credible. There are some concerns, as has been mentioned, that I just want to ensure that we acknowledge them a little bit on the record. You started to address it as far as your student loan debt. Can you tell me what your just general plan is moving forward? I understand it's on hold right now, but where do you see, as you move forward here, what's your plan with that? How are you going to address that?
So once it's in the forbearance, but once that comes out of that and they're able to give me a determination, definitely, I want to start to make payments on that and get it down and pay it back. But obviously I don't want to do it to where it's going to, jeopardize my family, right? Like, I want it to be in our budget. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that we can make those payments accordingly, and to do it to where it doesn't hurt us financially as well.
Wonderful. And I know you've addressed as well that you've been going to your regular meetings. Can I just ask for clarification? And I wasn't sure, I know there was some sort of mention in the affirmative presentation by Mr. Moran. Are you going to like a therapist or a counselor or a family kind of counselor? What's the status of that?
It's in the works. We're looking for one. Yes.
Okay, so I think that's really important as well to help support you and this is a huge transition with a lot that's happened in your past to make sure you're staying positive in the future. And I think that's really critical.
Absolutely.
And, I would definitely be very cautious in that your sobriety is just so recent. A year and a half, last, August of 2023, I believe. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. Moving forward, I do think that there would need to be some sort of conditions imposed here, as Mr. Moran noted, to ensure we can check in and ensure that you're doing everything and you're continuing to move forward. I'll pass it along to my colleagues here, the chairman, if you would like to chime in for a little bit, and I can finish up some more. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Sendall. Member Sendall will ask you some questions about your student loan debt. How about your overall finances? How are you dealing with family finances in general? Do you have a plan?
Yes, we do. We write down everything that we need to pay for the month. And the overall plan is we have a checking and a saving. Every time we get paid every 2 weeks, money goes into the saving. And we've done a great job at trying not to touch that. We've used it a couple times, but there's a balance in there today. So the goal is to continue to stack that up and have it for when we need it. And as far as, paying everything on time, trying to just clear all the debt. I think that was something that me and my wife set for a goal for ourselves when we started this journey, when we getting clean and taking responsibility, was to be financially stable. So it's definitely a path that we are on together and that we want to take.
It's good to hear that you're addressing that, because as you know, in the position you have, there's cash around. And one of our responsibilities is to protect gaming licensees and the state and tax collection and those kind of things. So sometimes when people have financial issues in their personal lives, it causes temptation and sometimes opportunity for bad decisions. So I'm glad that you're getting your personal finances in order. Not saying that you would ever do anything wrong. Sounds like you've never done that. You've never been disciplined, but you don't want to be in a situation where you even have that thought pop into your head because you have financial difficulties. As I mentioned earlier, it seems to me that all the issues that we have in your background relate to your personal life and not your business life. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Some of those personal issues that you've been very cooperative with our agents to explain, some of those trouble me. There's some real issues in there. But because you were open and honest with our agents, that goes a long way with me. One of the biggest things that is a negative for any applicant is not being honest with the agents. To me, if you can't be honest at the time to the agents, that means you're not being honest to yourself. That means you can't be honest to the industry. And we don't have enough agents to go around and watch everybody 24/7. So the fact that you've been open about your life is a big plus in my side of the ledger for what you've done. It is troubling, though, to me that your personal issues have happened during a time that you've gone through this application process. You've had personal issues for several years while you've been a general manager. I temper that, though, with the fact that as the judge went through with you for the last 18 months, almost 2 years we're coming up on, you're trying to get your personal life in order. As I mentioned earlier, it's difficult to separate personal life from business life. And somehow you've been able to do that. You've been able to do it so well that you've been promoted during a time that you were dealing with some personal issues. You've been in a position where Mr. Winchell is proverbially sticking his neck out for you, right?
Right.
He is behind you financially, personally, professionally. He's put you in charge of 6 locations. That says a lot to me because he's got a lot on the line if you make mistakes, not just you. So his putting trust in you and your character and your suitability, that goes a long way to me as well. I would say that me speaking, not you, this job may be the glue that's holding your family together, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know, that the fact that you've got some income has bridged the gap maybe between your personal issues and your business issues, and the fact that you've been able to decide that when you show up at work, you're there to work. And so I know this job means a lot to you, means a lot to your wife, your family. I'm in a position where it sounds like my fellow board members, we're in a position of wanting to help you. But at the same time, we've got to protect the industry. We've got to protect the residents and the taxpayers in Nevada. That's our ultimate responsibility. At the end of the day, your destiny belongs to you, right? No matter what we decide today, tomorrow belongs to you.
Correct.
So with the fact that Mr. Winchell wants to move forward, the fact that you've been extremely cooperative, very open, this meeting being public can't be easy for you. I want to help you stay a course that helps you be committed to your employer's opportunity, right? For your employer's sake, for your family's sake. But at the end of the day, it's for your sake, right? If you can't look yourself in the mirror, then none of us can protect that. So I want to help you stay that course. And Member Sendall mentioned that if we move forward, I would like to see an opportunity for you to come back before us in a couple of years. You've been sober. The fact that you know the date of how long you've been sober is important to me. If we were to limit a recommendation of the Nevada Gaming Commission, that would give you an opportunity to come back and see us in a couple of years, not as a punishment. It's more of an opportunity. It says we're willing to give you a chance, but it also gives you a chance to come back to us and prove that success happened, right? That
Right.
2 years later, things are going even better. And Member Sendall mentioned as well some conditions. I would be interested in conditions about being sure that we help you stay clean and continue to report to us, testing, reporting, those type of things. So
Absolutely.
I certainly want to hear from my fellow board members on that, but that's where I'm leaning at this point. Judge?
Yeah, I concur. I think a 2-year limitation would benefit Mr. Olvera as much as give the board assurances that we're doing the right thing and protecting the public and the taxpayers as well.
Member Sendall, you mentioned potential conditions. Did you have specifics in mind?
Absolutely. I have some proposals that we do issue a 2-year limited license to expire at midnight of the April 2027 Nevada Gaming Commission meeting on the day the item is heard. I would also be open to Mr. Olvera being subject to submit to random drug testing in the time, manner, and place which the Nevada Gaming Control Board determines appropriate at his cost and expense for a period of 24 months. And obviously, based on that would be subject to the outcome of those test results. It could be extended further or require potentially coming back based on the test results of those random drug tests. Mr. Olvera will provide, in addition, the Gaming Control Board quarterly updates regarding your drug and alcohol addiction counseling. You mentioned you were looking into that, some therapy, whether that's in the individual, family, both children, but also obviously to address your addiction issues as well. I know you're involved in going to regular meetings, but I think that one-on-one actual counseling is really critical as well. And so we'd want to place a condition regarding that and really seeing the follow-up on that.
Okay.
And then lastly, to address, as the chairman mentioned, is your outstanding debt and what you're doing to actively work down your student loan debt and any other debt that you might that might be occurring now or might arise, that how you're addressing that and what the current status is on a quarterly basis as well, along with the drug and alcohol testing. Those would be my general application of those sort of conditions. I think something along those lines, and I'm open to what my fellow board members feel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Those certainly sound along the same lines. I was thinking a limited amount of time to come back. 2 years makes sense to me. The conditions you mentioned about, same thing. I was thinking testing, reporting, financial reporting, counseling, those type of things. Mr. Moran, do those make sense to you?
Yes, they do, Mr. Chairman.
And Mr. Olvera, does that make sense? Something you can help you stay the course?
Yes, they do, Mr. Chairman.
Judge, thoughts?
I concur.
All right, then, Mr. Olvera, anything else you'd like to say to us before we deliberate?
I just want to say thank you for allowing me to sit here today, as I mentioned before, and to hearing me out and having, to believing in me and giving me a chance and an opportunity. That makes me feel good inside. It makes my family feel good, and I definitely will do my very, very best to remain the same person I am sitting here today. And I want to thank the agency again for their hard work and dedication, and to giving you guys the information that was needed for my application, and Ron Winchell for believing in me as well. None of it goes unnoticed, and I appreciate the time. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion then on this item. Judge, are you making motions?
I will. Thank you, Chairman.
Do you have, Member Sendall, do you have notes that you had?
Yeah, I think I've got it.
Member-
Testing, reporting,
Member
financial.
Sendall wrote that down, so
very
if you
good.
want to take that.
Very good. Oops, excuse me. Yeah, I'll just read it because I concur with everything Member Sendall said. So I move to that we recommend to the Nevada Gaming Commission approval of restricted agenda item number 17 with the as read into the record by Secretary Nicole Rupert, with the following conditions: that it be a limited license to expire at midnight of the April 2027 Nevada Gaming Commission meeting on the day that the item is heard. Second, Mr. Oliveira will submit to random drug testing in the manner, time, and place which the Nevada Gaming Control Board determines appropriate at his cost and expense for a period of 24 months. Mr. Oliveira will also provide the Nevada Gaming Control Board quarterly updates regarding his drug and alcohol addiction counseling. And lastly, Mr. Oliveira will provide the Nevada Gaming Control Board quarterly regarding updates for his outstanding debt services.
Again, for the record, Mr. Moran, do you understand those and agree with those conditions on behalf of your client?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
And Mr.
Thank you.
Olvera, do you understand them and agree?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, then, normally I would turn to you, Member Sendall, and ask if you agree with the conditions, but since you wrote them, I'm guessing you're okay with them. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would, when I was speaking initially, I would just say, obviously, if there's anything really negative that comes up, I would assume that you'll be in touch with us and let us know aside from the quarterly requirements to those conditions. Thank you.
All right, then, Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Member Assad?
Aye.
Member Sandal?
Aye.
Chairman Hendrick?
Aye. Motion passes. Don't let us down. Don't let your family down. Don't let Mr. Winchell down. Don't let your coworkers down. Most importantly, don't let yourself down. We look forward to seeing you in a couple of years and hearing about the great success.
Thank you, and I won't.
Great.
Makes me work harder. Thank you.
All right, Madam Secretary, please. Let's take, where are we at here? Let's take a 5-minute break, Madam Secretary, and we'll come back into the last non-restricted item. We're in recess for 5 minutes. All right, we are back on the record. Madam Secretary, please read in our last non-restricted item number 18.
Non-restricted number 18 is the request to withdraw the application of Jamie Branch for licensure as a key employee at Jackpot Joni's RW LLC, doing business as Golden West Restaurant and Casino.
Good morning, Mr. Moran. Push that button there. Push the button.
Green button.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. JT Moran with the law firm of Hutchison and Steffen on item number 18, also appearing before your board, Judge, and Chair, Member Sendall, is Jamie Branch. Miss Branch began working at Golden West Restaurant and Casino. This is out in Mesquite as a bartender about 5 years ago. Later, she became a server, and then she became a kitchen supervisor, back of house, essentially. On February 29th, 2024, after having been at the property for a number of years, Ms. Branch was promoted to the role of general manager at Golden West. Her stepmother, Ms. Sharon Branch, who was the acting key employee at the time, began training Ms. Jamie Branch for the general manager's role. The goal was for the stepmother, Sharon, to retire on April 10, 2024. ECL Gaming submitted Ms. Jamie Branch's application for licensure as a key employee on May 30, 2024. ECL Gaming's licensing agent, Mr. Jeff Donato, had not heard that Ms. Sharon Branch was terminated for cause on March 27 of 2024. Instead of being an application that was filed 10 days early, as Mr. Donato had thought in the case, this application was technically filed 4 days after the 60-day deadline. And we spoke a little bit on item numbers, non-restricted number 17, about the key employee issues and the mitigating measures that the owner is taking to ensure that these key employee issues are not revisited and they are timely and strictly complied with. This type of miscommunication will not happen in the future again, Mr. Chair, members of the board, because of, again, we have a senior director of compliance that will be hired shortly hereafter, and the compliance chief in charge will be tracking these key employee terminations and filing either, at their deadlines or asking for specific extensions of time with your chief of investigations. Ms. Branch submitted an application for licensure as key employee again on the 30th, 2024, and the application wasn't received until June 6th of 2024. So again, that was an issue there. It was a miscalculation on our end. We understand it. We are, again, taking measures to ensure that doesn't happen in the future. The key employee at the time was terminated with cause. This is the stepmother who was in place at the Mesquite location. Again, the marketplace, the workforce is, the pool is very small out there, and there's not a lot of people at this specific number in terms of salary wanting to make that trip from Las Vegas north to Mesquite. And so we had folks that were there that knew the property and knew the people and understood the business, and we kept them on. We are again aware that the calculation was supposed to begin on Ms. Branch's promotion date, which is, I think, the date that the Gaming Control Board and Investigations feels is the appropriate date when looking at the statute, which is the date the employee was promoted. Going forward, ECL is confident that this hiring of a senior compliance officer and having leadership positions, new officer director positions, will essentially ensure that these timeframes don't get interrupted. Effective February 17, 2025, Ms. Branch decided to resign from her position as a general manager of Golden West. She has been working there, obviously, for the last few years. She felt like she wanted to move forward into a management position, but found that there were too many responsibilities associated with her moving forward with that application, in conjunction with some issues that came up in the investigations part of, in terms of areas of concern and areas of interest that came up during her investigation as a proposed key employee for the location. But again, after working as a general manager for nearly a year, Ms. Branch realized that her passion was to stay back of house with kitchen staff rather than, again, dealing with the responsibilities of a general manager on the property. Her father is currently the kitchen manager. This is her biological father. He's either left or he's going to be retiring soon. So it's a perfect time for her to go back to her former responsibilities and duties, again, back of house, not dealing with people, not dealing with the gaming aspect on the front of house operations. And she can speak a little bit to that. But just to let the board know, we recently submitted a key employee application for Miss Deborah Mick at this specific location. So when we figured that Miss Branch was not going to move forward, we had somebody else that has agreed to take the position that we feel has been vetted from a personal suitability standpoint, financial suitability standpoint, and then obviously the business probity side of it, knowing the business, understanding how the gaming and the compliance side of things work as far as the mandated compliance obligations, and obviously knowing the operations side of it pretty well too and intimately. But we filed her application. I spoke with Amy Morton with Applicant Services. She indicated that she received the application, but we don't know if it's complete. So I couldn't say today because I hadn't spoken with her since Monday of this week. But she had indicated that she had received it and it was submitted. And I believe that it's in. So that's the key employee that we would like to move forward with. Again, we're asking if Ms. Branch could have her application. We understand, she understands that by submitting, she is in the hands of the Philistines, so to speak. And we have to petition to allow her to withdraw that application. But that's what we're asking for today is, again, the responsibilities may be too great for her. She wants to stick with doing what she does best. She's raising children, doing the best job she can. But again, we're requesting withdrawal of this item, Mr. Chairman. And we have a new key employee application that is in. We'd like to thank Supervisor Barbie, Olia, and Agent Young. I believe he's here as well. And even though I didn't really deal with them on the front part of the application, because the applications, we have a process at ECL where we have Argentum handles the application process, and then our offices handle compliance and as the applications move down the process. So it's kind of like a co-counsel position that Jeff and I kind of work together on these items. But again, I spoke with Agent Young earlier this week, and he seemed to know the information inside and out, talked about some concerns that he had. And yeah, he did a great, it was a great investigation, and he was very helpful to me this week. And we want to thank him and the rest of the investigations department, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Moran. Good morning, Ms. Branch.
Good morning.
So we went through the late filings already, Mr. Moran, when we dealt with non-restricted item number 17. So there's no need to rehash that. So Ms. Branch, we're going to ask you a few questions. As I said on the earlier applicant, nobody's here to try to embarrass you. Nobody's here to try to hurt you. We just need to do our duty, which is to protect the state of Nevada and the gaming industry. And how we do that is we have investigative files, which our investigators go through, and we learn a lot about your background, your history, your work history, and pretty much everything about your life, because you're asking for a privileged position in the gaming industry. It's my understanding that you've been with Jackpot Jonies for about 5 years, correct?
Yes.
And up until this recent promotion, you'd always been on the non-gaming side of the house?
Yes.
Would you say that after you took over the general manager job, it was just too much for you?
Yeah, it was a little overwhelming to be in the gaming part of it when my passion is in the kitchen.
What part of the gaming side was a little overwhelming to you?
A lot of the things, that I wasn't familiar with, drops and logs and that kind of stuff. It was just something that I wasn't passionate about.
And you understand that being on the gaming side of the business is a privilege, correct?
Exactly, yes.
Carries a lot of responsibility, some of which you just went through. There are a lot of gaming responsibility, compliance issues. You understand now? As Mr. Moran said, you're asking to have this application withdrawn along with your employers asking to have it withdrawn. Would you say that's because you just don't think you're personally up to being involved in the gaming industry?
I think at this time, it's not something that I want to do.
Okay. You're probably aware that there's a number of serious concerns that are in our investigative file. The agents probably have asked you about those.
Yes.
Mr. Moran mentioned Mr. Donato and our agent's request for documents. We didn't fully get all of those documents because there was a request to withdraw your application.
Mhm.
Normally, Mr. Moran, Mr. Donato, even if there's a request to withdraw, you're still an ongoing responsibility for you, a duty on you on behalf of your client to continue to get our agents anything they may need. If the agent tells you that it's okay, you can stop, that's one thing. But if not, you keep moving forward. If they keep asking questions, I'm sure both of you gentlemen are aware of that. What's the current status of the GM role? Do you know, are you out of the GM role, or is there someone in it, or are you still fulfilling it
No,
during the
I'm out of
transition?
the position currently, yes.
And when did that happen? What day?
I don't remember the exact date.
How long ago? Weeks, days?
Yeah, it's been about almost 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah.
So you stopped being the GM and somebody is now in that role.
Yes, sir.
And you're fully back on the kitchen side of the house.
Yes.
Judge Assad, did you have questions?
Just went through the whole packet of information from the agent Young, who did a really good job, very thorough. There were a lot of concerns in there. I don't want to embarrass you or go on the record with everything. So I'm just gonna kind of defer to the chair on this, and fact that you've been, I thought you were still in the GM position, so that might change my calculus that you are actually no longer in the GM position. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll just defer at this present time and see where this goes.
Yeah, thank you, Judge. And I can tell you right now, I'm not going to entertain a motion to withdraw this application because we do still have some time that our agents weren't able to finish. There was documents still being due, so there will not be a withdrawal of the application. I am interested in referring it back. But Member Sendall, if you have questions before we have that conversation, please feel free.
Thank you for being here, Ms. Branch. And I guess, yeah, I am a little confused. I don't know the exact date, but my understanding was, did you at some interim point, were you in the process of still being in the role and perhaps training Ms. Deborah Mick for that role?
It was about 2 weeks that she had training.
That she had training. And when did she start exactly? I thought she started fairly recently.
It was in February. I can't
Okay.
remember the exact date.
Okay, so I think I have in my notes that your termination date was February 17th, but you were still acting until Ms. Mick is trained up.
Yes.
And then I wanted to follow up on the status of that. So you're saying you only trained her for a couple weeks at that point. And so it's, what is it now, April 10th? So it's been a month that you're no longer in that role.
Yes.
And Ms. Mick has been going forward. Okay. That was the only thing I wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm not going to accept a motion to even consider withdrawing this application, but what I would be interested in doing is referring it back to staff. And that way, if we have further questions for the employer or for Ms. Branch or for anybody else, this will keep it on file. Ms. Branch, you need to understand that that will keep it on file with the Gaming Control Board as well, that if you ever attempt to apply for another gaming position, whether this file gets completed or not, the first thing the agents are going to do is going to start with this file and everything that's in it. I'm not saying that that will keep you from ever applying again. That's up to you. That's up to a potential employer. But all the facts that we have in front of us will be considered at that time if it occurs. Mr. Moran, anything else you'd like to add?
We're crystal clear. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, then on non-restricted item number 18, I'm going to refer that back to staff. Thank you. Good
Thank
luck
you.
to you. Madam Secretary, I believe that brings us now to our restricted agenda.
Correct.
Go ahead and read in restricted item number Actually, I take that back. We have a couple on consent, don't we?
We do.
All right. On our consent matters, these are matters that have been reviewed by the board members after receiving very detailed investigative files from our investigations division. Because the files did not present any areas of interest or areas of concern during the investigations, and because I'm not aware of any questions or issues with the items, appearances by the respective applicants were waived for this meeting. Madam Secretary, would you go ahead and read in our items on our restricted consent agenda?
Restricted number 7 is the application of Vegas TP to receive a percentage of gaming revenue from United Coin Machine Company doing business as Century Gaming Technologies, doing business at Twin Peaks. It is also the applications of Mohit Mal and Aman Singh for licensure as an officer, director, and shareholder as noted on the agenda. Restricted number 9 is the application of Crawford Coin, Inc., doing business at Green Valley Grocery number 95 for a restricted gaming license.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. And as I mentioned, I did not know of any areas of interest or any questions. Fellow board members, did you have any questions or concerns regarding the 2 restricted consent items?
I do not. Thank you, Chairman.
I do not, thank you.
All right, then I'd entertain a motion on the consent items.
Yes, thank you. I move that we recommend to the Nevada Gaming Commission that agenda items 7 and 9 on the restricted calendar be approved as stated therein by Secretary Nicole Rupert.
And I don't believe we had any conditions on either one, did we?
Well, actually, we do on number 9, I believe.
Okay.
Let me read that into the record. Regarding number 9, the surveillance system and/or mirrors must be inspected and approved by the Nevada Gaming Control Board Enforcement Division within 60 days of issuance of the state gaming license and thereafter be maintained at or above the standard that is approved.
Thank you for putting that on the record, Judge. With that condition and that motion, Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Member Assad?
Aye.
Member Sandal?
Aye.
Chairman Hendrick?
Aye, that motion passes. Bringing us now, Madam Secretary, to restricted item number 1.
Restricted number 1 is the application of Patrick Stork for temporary licensure as co-executor of the estate of Stephen Matthew Stork. It is also the application of Conrad and Sons Limited for a transfer of interest as noted on the agenda.
Good morning. Have a seat. Push that little button there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Patrick Stork.
Great. Pleasure to have you here this morning. Is there anything you want to tell us before we start asking you questions?
Well, I guess kind of the big thing is going to be, there's a big delay in doing this, and I know that's going to be a question. Part of this started back in 2019. We was on a fishing trip in Mexico with my wife. My brother, he passed away. So we got back, notified gaming of his passing. He was also on a gaming license with another business in Elko. Sold at a 33% interest in that and a 1% interest in this one with me. And so we notified gaming, was told, we're going to get the paperwork going. So start all that. Well, in March, COVID happened, everything shut down. So we couldn't communicate with nobody. We started the probate, everything got done in May. Gaming officers were set to open, they figured in June or July. June 15th, another business partner passed away. So kind of started the whole process over again because we're trying to figure out how his interest was going to get transferred to his wife. My brother's interest up there transferred to me. So we were in constant contact with gaming throughout the thing. Dealing with the other business partner's spouse was a real struggle. She was just wouldn't give up no information, wouldn't give anything. We finally come to terms with her to buy her out. Was able to submit all the paperwork in February of last year. And then since then, we have sold those other businesses. So we surrendered that gaming license we had up there, withdrew our application, which has already been granted on that license. And so this one is the only interest that is still needing to be transferred in order to close the probate. And we assumed the whole time that since everybody's still, all the other partners, myself and the ones who were in the other license, all had gaming license, that everything was going as opposed to, but if I'd have known, I think I could have got this portion done myself separate. I would have just done it sooner and got it away from the other business, which kind of got us where we're at today.
Thank you for that, Mr. Stork, and your explanation coincides exactly with what we have in front of us. So let me begin by saying condolences on the loss of your brother and your business partner. I'm sure none of that's very easy. And as you've explained for the record, that creates estate issues, gaming issues, and there's a couple items, your item and a couple other items that we've had on our agenda this month that point out that we need more education to our restricted licensees. There's a gap there that we don't have as much interaction and communication with our restricted licensees that sometimes we do with our non-restricted, which would seem backwards. Non-restricted are big, massive companies with lots of gaming going on. Restricted seems smaller, but because of that, the way it's structured, we just don't often talk to the restricted licensees, and we need to do more education. We actually have in our budget right now that we're going to be asking for a restricted licensee compliance group that will go out and be in the field with the restricted licensees. And that would have given you an opportunity to actually ask, where am I at? Or if this happens, what do I do? Who do I call? And so it's a bigger picture than you. Can't go back and revisit the history, but it's something that will help if we are able to get that budgeted into our next legislative approval. So we'll look and see if that happens. I understand what happened here, and only thing I would ask you is, now that you got some hindsight, what would you do different? You mentioned if you knew this one only had you, what would you do different?
Definitely doing different is I would contact probably a gaming attorney to get some advice as to where to go. Because I did make some calls just to the tax and license division, just, to try and ask some questions. And, I understand everybody's not versed in everything. Since I got everything going with Agent Lombardo, he's been superb in helping me get everything done and everything goes. So, like you said, there's a lot of knowledge there that a person don't have of, different forms that got to be filed. I know all the other forms, but I mean, just like this having to be done. And, I was kind of under the assumption, the 1%, they said, oh, don't worry, just handle it when you do the other one. So trying to handle the two together, if I'd have known we could have just split them off and just ended this one way sooner, it would have been, that portion for me would have been done and over with, and wouldn't have been a kind of hung up in the other convoluted mess that we had going for a while.
Yeah, appreciate that. And how long have you been a licensee? And
it's just 2012, I believe it was.
Yeah, it's about 13 years. Yeah. And as you mentioned, for this location, you were the 99% owner. Your brother had 1%. So
right, and then I'm the sole beneficiary of his estate, and I have a license, and his 1% was coming to me, and the rest of the partners all had licenses also. So everybody thought, we're compliant. We were in touch with gaming, so we weren't doing nothing to try and cut corners or be sneaky or nothing in that way.
And that's one of the things that always concerns us is if a third party is brought into a license that we have no background on them. We don't know who they are. We haven't done investigation. Your situation, you were the 99% owner. Your brother had 1%. His 1% was supposed to go to you anyway. So I understand there is some paperwork that's required so that we make sure that we keep in touch. Has anyone mentioned to you, Agent Lombardo or anybody else, about that we have a restricted licensee compliance seminar that we do every couple of months?
I've been to one. It's been a long time ago, but I definitely want to go to one. It's been several years since we did one, but
good.
I definitely want to attend one of the
easy to do. They're online, and I don't know if we'll make that a condition of this today, but I appreciate you already thinking about it, and I'm going to strongly encourage it. If we don't make it a condition that you do that, very easy to sign up for. Our agents can help you do that, but good that you want to keep doing more about learning so that we don't end up in these situations again.
Okay,
great. Appreciate you being here. Judge Assad, questions?
Thank you, Chairman Hendrick. Yeah, Mr. Stork, I'm sorry about the passing of Stephen, first of all. My condolences there. And I think you understand now the process with the help of Agent Lombardo. You need to be on the safe side and just get a hold of a good gaming lawyer.
Right.
And you can avoid all these issues moving forward. So, okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. That's all I have.
Member Sindall.
Yeah, no, thank you for being here. I appreciate the explanation and affirmative presentation on what occurred. I don't have any questions and my understanding there's a compliance training seminar next Tuesday, I think. So, but they're every other month, so. they're
Perfect.
online.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Where do you live, Mr. Stork?
Ely, Nevada,
Okay. How far is the drive? How long did it take you?
240 miles, 3.5 hours.
Okay, good. Well, again, we appreciate you coming in person.
Yep.
Yeah, glad you're here. I'd leave it up to my colleagues here. If you promise to us on the record that you're going to attend either the restricted licensee gaming compliance seminar that's next week or the one maybe after that, if you do it next week, you're going to be sitting in front of the commission if they have you show up and you're gonna be able to say,
Right.
I did it last week, because their meeting isn't for 2 weeks. So I would strongly encourage you to do it next week if you can. Again, it's online, takes a couple hours. That'll put you in real good stead in front
I
of
could
the
probably
commission.
do that next week.
Good. All right. Well, why don't we take a promise from you on the record that you're gonna try to do it next week, and if it doesn't, you're gonna catch the next one, but try
Definitely.
for next week.
Yep,
Great.
most definitely.
Okay. Unless fellow board members want to make a condition, I'm fine with that promise.
I'd take him at his word.
Great.
I'm new, so I'll be on that too. So I'll just look for you on there.
Perfect.
There you go. You got somebody taking attendance. Great. All right, then I would entertain a motion on restricted item number 1.
Thank you, Chairman Hendrick. I move to recommend to the Nevada Gaming Commission approval of restricted agenda item number 1 as read into the record by Secretary Nicole Ruprecht.
Madam Secretary.
Member Assad?
Aye.
Member Sindall?
Aye.
Chairman Hendrick?
Aye, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very
Good
much.
luck to you.
Have a good day.
Madam Secretary, please read in restricted item number 2.
Restricted number 2 is the application of Citrus 2 NV Inc. doing business as Citrus Grill for a restricted gaming license. It is also the applications of Sean Tamina, Russell Tamina, and Luis Ruiz for licensure as an officer, director, and/or shareholder.
Good morning, gentlemen. Please push
morning.
those little red buttons and introduce yourselves.
My name's Luis Ruiz.
My name is Russell Tomina.
Good morning. I'm Sean Tomina.
Good morning, gentlemen. Is there anything you want to tell us, or would you like us to just start asking questions?
We're just happy to be here. Thank you for having us. My name is Sean. My brother Russell is right here, and then my good friend Luis and business partner is at the end there. And we're here. We have Citrus Grill. It's a Mediterranean restaurant here locally in town. It's our second location. No, we're just happy to be here.
Thank you. We're happy to have you here this morning. And you had one of the questions I was going to ask. This is the second location, but the first one that has gaming.
First one that has gaming, correct?
Is there an intention to have gaming in the other location? Is it designed that way?
Not necessarily. It's a little smaller, so I don't think it would work there, unfortunately. The second location, we kind of designed a little bit larger for a larger bar. And we had thought about it with the first location, but it was our first venture actually into like the restaurant world. So we wanted to make sure we got all the ins and outs there covered. And I feel like now with our second location, 6 years down the road, I think we're prepared for that. So.
How long have both locations been open?
The new one actually has only been open for about 7 months now. And the original one was about 6 years now.
And how's business going at both?
Business it's been up and down. It's been kind of like a roller coaster. We went through COVID actually. We with our first location, we opened in October of 2019. So a couple months later, we had to shut down with the COVID. And but other than that, it's been steady and growing year over year. And at the new location, we're seeing growth month over month actually. So we're pretty excited about that.
Great. You heard a lot of conversation about the restricted licensee gaming compliance seminar. You gentlemen all attended that, right?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
When was that, last month?
Yes.
Great. Good. Did you learn anything?
Yeah, it was actually it was good. Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of support. If you need it, you can definitely reach out. They gave us all the contact information. We actually have partnering with Golden. They've been very helpful as well. So there's a lot of support there. And it was good.
Good. As you mentioned, communication is really the key, right? So if you have an issue, having a gaming attorney is one thing, and they can always help answer it. But knowing that you can reach out to the game control board in the right division and get as many answers as possible, that's what we're here for. We're not always here to catch people doing something wrong, not doing something timely. We're here to answer the questions so that you don't have an issue after the fact and we don't have an issue. Creates paperwork for us when people have issues. We like things to be streamlined as well.
Absolutely.
Great. Good. Judge, questions?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Hendricks. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
I was driving up Warm Springs last night, actually, and I'm trying to find it. What's the cross street with Warm Springs?
It's right off Tenaya. So Warm Springs and Tenaya.
Is it on, if you're heading west, is it on the left-hand side?
If you're heading west, it's on the right-hand side.
On
actually.
the right-hand side,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, actually, if you're heading
It's on
west,
your
it's on the
left-hand
left. You're
side.
right.
If you're
Sorry.
heading west, it's on
Yeah.
your left-hand.
It's on the left.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
I didn't want to look too much and get in a wreck, so I was trying to do, a little bit of this and
Right.
stay on the road, keep my eyes moving forward. The photos here, it looks like a really beautiful place.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys have done a nice job on setting it up. It looks really nice. And then what kind of Mediterranean food are you producing?
So it's actually it's like Lebanese inspired. So it's kebabs, hummus, Greek salads, tzatziki. We kind of make everything in house and do
Cool.
all that.
Yeah, well, I'll be there.
We'd appreciate that.
It's my heritage. I grew up on that stuff.
Okay, awesome.
So that's why I was looking for it, but
Very cool.
I'll make sure turn left when I get to Tenaya.
Yes.
So you only have 5 machines?
Yes.
Any plans to put in more?
I believe the location wouldn't be approved for more.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, we have a Dottie's in our plaza. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't think it'll work.
Oh, very good, very good. Because it's listed, what, as a tavern restaurant, right?
Supper club, actually.
Supper club?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's it. Okay. All right. Well, I wish you guys all the luck in the world. Everything looks in order. Ruiz, what, you're the main chef there or?
No, I'm not the chef. I'm the director.
Correct?
I can't cook to
Who's the
save my
chef?
life.
It's actually we have a head chef. He's not here today, but he's been doing it for 18 years now.
And so where did he get the recipes?
Well, he's Mediterranean. He's Middle Eastern. So
His mother.
his mom
There
was
you go.
working
All
with.
right. I'll definitely be there.
Exactly.
That's all I have. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Member Sendall?
Thank you for being here, all of you. Only couple questions I had is, as far as you guys, your other employment, you have another store, RN and RS Consulting. Is that something that both of you do together? It's like, is it Sprint by Expert's Choice? And then I noticed there's another Wireless World Sprint. Just
Yeah.
want to know if those are separate or each of yours?
So
yeah.
that was a franchise that we owned and we sold in 2021. So we're no longer involved with that corporation.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
just one business that you
Yes.
were part of. Okay. And then Mr. Ruiz, how'd you end up in Vegas after you graduated high school in Reno?
These two guys, I used to work for them in Reno.
Oh.
They used to have Sprint stores. I worked for them, became really good friends and came down here. They gave me opportunity and eventually ended up becoming business partners.
So
And
the three of
brothers, so-
you manage both of the locations, is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. And
Every
then-
day,
Go ahead.
every day.
Every day. I was
Yeah.
just gonna say, so are you at both locations daily?
Yeah, we have a pretty good rotation. We rotate pretty good. If I'm not there, partner Russ is there. If he's not there, my partner Sean is there. So
Great.
yeah, we're always there.
Well, it's nice to see friendships and family doing business together and doing well. I don't think I have any other questions, and it sounds like you guys took the compliance class, and if there's ever any issues, you can always contact the Gaming Control Board. Happy to support your application and good luck,
Thank
and I
you.
hope business continues to thrive for you
Appreciate
guys.
that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you all. I didn't have any other questions as well, and happy to support your application and wish you all the best. Judge, do you want to make a motion?
Sure. Thank you, Chairman. Just one more question. Do you guys serve any kibbe nayi?
Not yet, no, unfortunately.
Why not?
For you, we'll make it.
We'll make it
special
special.
for
All
you.
right.
I have no clue. what
For
that
those of
even
you
is.
that don't know what that is, that's basically steak tartare,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
American version. All right, that being said, I would recommend and move that we recommend to the Nevada Gaming Commission approval of restricted agenda item number 2 as read into the record by Secretary Nicole Rupert.
Madam Secretary.
Member Assad?
Aye.
Member Sandal?
Aye.
Chairman Hendrick?
Aye, motion passes. Good luck to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Madam Secretary, please read in number 3.
Restricted number 3 is the application of 88 Horizon LLC doing business as 7-Eleven store number 3404 for a restricted gaming license, and the application of Harish Chopra for licensure as a member and manager.
Good morning, Mr. Donato.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Madam Secretary Jeff Donato, enrolled agent here with the applicant, Mr. Chopra. Mr. Chairman, I have a brief presentation I'd like to provide with your permission.
I think you can keep it very brief.
Thank you. This location is an existing convenience store known as 7-Eleven store number 32404, located in the city of Henderson at 1400 West Horizon Ridge Parkway. On or about April 3rd of 2024, the applicant took over the operations of the store that has 5 slot machines. Since the SRO, Century Gaming, held and continues to hold this restricted gaming license, the gaming has been operating under a space lease agreement, and the applicant has only been collecting space lease rent since taking over the operations. If this application is approved, this restricted gaming license will be held by the applicant. Although the applicant would hold the restricted gaming license, they have entered into a participation agreement to keep Century Gaming on as their SRO. Mr. Chopper spends approximately 30 hours a week at this store, 7-Eleven store number 32404, overseeing the day-to-day operations. This store is franchised and operated by 88 Horizon LLC, and Mr. Chopra is a 100% member of that LLC. In addition, Mr. Chopra spends approximately 10 hours a week at 7-Eleven store number 38749, assisting his mom with overseeing the operations of that business. That store is franchised and operated by HKHR Inc. Mr. Chopra is a 50% shareholder, and his mother is a 50% shareholder of that corporation. The gaming license for that location is held by Sartini Gaming, and HKHR Inc. is only sharing in the gaming revenue. In addition, Mr. Chopra spends approximately 10 hours a week at 7-Eleven store number 32113B, assisting his mom in overseeing the business operations, and that store is franchised and operated by WGTO Inc. Mr. Chopra is a 51%. Mr. Chopra is a 49% shareholder of that corporation, and his mom is a 51% shareholder. And that gaming license for that store is held by WGTO Inc. Lastly, Mr. Chopra spends approximately 10 hours a week at the AM/PM store at Russell and I-95, assisting his mom in overseeing the operations of that business as well. The store is franchised and operated by HPRW Inc. And Mr. Chopra is a 25% shareholder of that corporation, and his mom is the other 75% owner of that. And that gaming license for the location is held by Sartini Gaming, and HPRW Inc. shares in the gaming revenue at that location. Overall, Mr. Chopra spends approximately 60 hours a week at the 4 locations, but a majority of his time is spent at 7-Eleven store number 32404. For the other 3 locations, the duties and responsibilities in overseeing the operations are shared between his mom and himself. In conjunction with 3 prior locations, Mr. Chopra has been approved by the NGC in 2021 to share in the gaming revenue at 7-Eleven store number 38749. And in 2023 for 7-Eleven store number 32113 and the AM/PM store as part of TOI applications where he acquired an ownership interest in those businesses. He has great resource in his mom as she has been operating convenience stores with gaming for nearly 20 years. Initially with her late husband. With that, I'll have the applicant, if you so desire, to provide some information about himself, and then we'll be here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Donato. Mr. Chopra, pleasure having you here this morning. You're a busy man. How do you separate your time between all those responsibilities?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me today. It is a bit of a challenge in terms of moving my time around store to store, but I have been able to get a set schedule where I'm going to my Horizon location Monday, Wednesday, Friday, running that store for 10-hour days. And then I will go to my Blue Diamond store for 10 hours. We'll go to the Oki location for 10 hours, and then I'll go to the AM/PM for 10 hours for the full week, making a 60-hour week. It is quite difficult, but I have the experience and the ability to run those locations. I've been in the stores with my parents since I was like 8 years old, so I do know the ins and outs of that business.
That's great to hear. And you've been previously licensed to participate, and so I didn't have any concerns with your application. Glad that you've got a plan on separating your time to be sure you can handle it all. I understand that there's a planned condition to put on your approval today that you attend the restricted licensee gaming seminar that we've spoken about this morning. My understanding is you're enrolled for next week.
Yes,
Okay.
on the 15th.
Great. Well, if you get that done, there may be no need to keep that condition on the approval because the commission meets the week after that. Great. Judge Assad, you have questions?
Thank you, Chairman Hendricks. Yeah, you're a busy guy, so kudos to you. This is your fourth store?
Yes, sir.
Very good, very good. And I've gone through the report here from Agent Wilson. She did a very good job. We have photos to look at as well. Looks like a nice, clean location. And I have all the confidence in the world that you know what you're doing. And appreciate the fact that you're working with your mom. That's always nice to hear. How's your mom doing?
She's doing well.
Does she participate in taking care of any of the stores too, or is she just a passive owner?
Yes, she does participate.
Oh, very good.
I try to get her to work a little bit less, but
Yeah.
it's not in her eye, in her vision, you know.
Yeah.
She's very hands-on, and I don't want to take that away from her too much. I am actively trying to pursue my career, and I am in school right now. I graduate this semester from UNLV. My major is real estate, and I'm looking to forward my career there as well.
Well, that's great to hear. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have no concerns or questions. More than happy to support your application.
Thank you.
Member Sendall.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chopra and Mr. Donato, for being here this morning. And congratulations on your soon graduation. It sounds like you'll have additional plans to potentially expand or do other opportunities in the area of real estate. What does your current staff look like for this current property that you're seeking licensure for and the other locations? And how can that help ease your load of the amount of time that you have going forward? Or what do you foresee that looking like?
So as of 4 weeks ago, I had 7 employees at that location. One of my manager at that location ended up leaving. I have a new manager starting on Monday, and it'll go back up to 7 from there. Right now it's 6, and I'm kind of running the show till the manager is capable and ready.
Okay, yeah, that was my only concern, as you mentioned. This is your first location that you are going to be the full ownership and responsible licensee for without your mother being involved. Is that correct?
Yes, that's
correct. So then she's not going to be helping at this location at all? Okay.
Nope. I want her to kind of ease out of the business slowly. And this was kind of my first step to getting to that point, was taking over a location by myself without mom being
Over your
my
shoulder.
Yeah.
Good for you. And I'll see you next week at the compliance on the Zoom for that training. And I think, will any of your other staff be taking that training course at all? Or are they generally aware and used to working around the slot machines?
They are, they know what to do in terms of running the machines, taking care of Century's registered POS system. I will be the only one being at that meeting, at that seminar. But in the future, I do have plans of going through the key employee process.
Wonderful. That's great to hear and look forward to seeing you again in that capacity. I'm happy to support your application today and good luck. And I hope you get to like celebrate your graduation too in between all your working.
Thank you.
I would entertain a motion on restricted item number 3.
Thank you, Chairman Hendrick. I'll make that motion. I move to recommend to the Nevada Gaming Commission approval of restricted agenda item number 3 as read into the record by Secretary Nicole Rupert with the following condition: that the applicant shall demonstrate successful completion of a regulatory compliance seminar for restricted licensees, which is deemed acceptable to the Nevada Gaming Control Board Chair or the Chair's designee within 90 days of the issuance of the state gaming license. This condition may be administratively extended by the Nevada Gaming Control Board Chair or the Chair's designee.
Madam Secretary.
Member Assad?
Aye.
Member Sandal?
Aye.
Chairman Hendrick?
Aye. Motion passes. Good luck to you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Senior Agent Wilson for all her work on this application.
Thank you very much. Madam Secretary, please read in restricted item number 4.
Restricted number 4 is the application of ASNS LLC doing business as Craig Food Mart for a restricted gaming license and the application of Cesar Shoshan for licensure as a member and manager.
Good morning, Mr. Brown.
Good morning. David Brown on behalf of the applicant, Mr. Shoshani, who's here with me today. If it's okay with you, I'll give a very brief presentation and happy to answer any questions.
Great.
At this location, Mr. Shoshani is very familiar. He's been working there since 2010. He's been the key employee at this exact location since 2014 or since 2013. For the first 4 years, there was a slot route operator. Since that time, there hasn't been, and we are going to ask you waive the condition here that there be a requirement for 1 year because of the fact that he's already been running that business. He's been working there full time since 2010, and like I said, the key employee since 2013. However, of course, if you feel it's necessary, he has a slot route operator for a year. He'll comply. I know there was a previous application for Mr. Shoshani for his own business that he owns that he doesn't work out called Crystal's Liquor. The reason that application kind of sat in limbo is because his personality, the landlord never sent in the landlord information sheet. The landlord told him he did. He didn't want to get in a confrontation with his landlord and he just let it go. That wasn't, paramount to the success of the business. And he just never pushed forward with that. Here, he's been working here for his uncle and his uncle has decided it's time to step away. He's happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Mr. Shoshani, pleasure having you here this morning. Please tell us a little bit about this location and what Mr. Brown said, how many years you've been there.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for having me here. And I've been working in this location since 2010. And in 2013, my uncle, and he bought this location. And he put me as a key employee at the location. And I've been since there with the slot route operating. It was until I think 2017, and then my uncle buy the machines and have it in there, and I was running it all this time.
Who handles the service of the machines now?
The service, you're talking about the technical support.
Technical support.
Yeah, it's like the AA slot operator, or a person, his name is Robert Nelson.
Okay. And have you had other slot route operators in there recently? When was the last time there was a slot route operator?
Was since I think from 2010 until 2017. That was the only time they have.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ask investigations some questions in a moment, but Judge, if you got questions, please feel free.
Yeah, I was concerned about the servicing of the machines as well. Are you familiar with the technical side of, let's say, a machine breaks down, or how to process the transactions and so forth?
Like technical side, if something easy, for example, stuck money in it, or some like issue with monitoring or something like this, I might do it. If not, I will call technical person.
And who is that person again?
It's Robert Nelson or AA slot, AA, what they call it? His name is Anik. Is like a company. They do like
Slot
call it-
services?
yeah, slot services. I think they called AAA, something like that.
Okay. And then you've been in the business for quite a while yourself, you said, right?
Oh yeah, I own a liquor store, and I was
Have
at-
machines in that store?
no, I don't have machine on
okay.
that store. That was opened in 2019, and I was having some issue from landlord to send in the application for the gaming, and I think that was a Corona time, so it was having a little bit issue to sending 2-3 times. We talked to each other, and he said I'm sending it, and the gaming they was telling me we didn't receive it, so I didn't want to have issue with the landlord. I just kept it like silent. I kept it away.
And if a jackpot hits, you'll be paying the jackpot out yourself?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's all I have at this time, Chairman. Thank you.
Member Sindall.
Yes, thank you for being here, Mr. Shoshone. Is that how
Thank
you
you.
say it? Yeah. Okay. Just to kind of expand on that, since 2017, then there hasn't been a slot route operator. Can you give me an example of when you had to call somebody to get assistance with the machines and what happened and what kind of issues arose?
Like the way I say, the issues, if there's some technical issues in the machine, it was by since that time it was different people. Like I think there was like different people, like the people they changing all the time. Like we always have somebody new company, they came in and checking on the machine, they let us know there's a new machine, a new not new machine, like new like software, it has to be into the machine, stuff like that. So those companies are, the way I say, it's like Robert Nelson is one of them. There's another one, I can't remember all the names, but the AAA.
That's okay. So then are you saying you have somebody come out every 6 months, a year to like service the machine and just make sure the software is up to date and that it's working? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, it's whatever happened to the machine, I call them.
Okay.
If something new law or something, like they send me a letter from the gaming, that way is different way. Like I have to call, for example, I might call Mr. David, like ask him, is there a new law? I received this letter. Is that normal or is some scam? Like there's scam now everywhere. Or I call the gaming control board, or I take it to the, for example, bookkeeper to show him I am the only one I received this letter, or there's a bunch of people, there's a new law coming in, I don't know it.
Understood.
So, yeah.
So you mentioned you have another business. So how much of your time do you spend at Crystal's Liquor and then Craig Food Mart moving forward?
Most of the time I will have it on Craig Food Mart. I still same thing, like I'm having more time at Craig Food Mart than Crystal Liquor.
And then those
And I
are your
apologize, I
own-
would just add, he's at Craig Food Mart, will be, right now it's Thrift Food Mart, but he's there over 40 hours a week currently. He spends approximately 10 hours at the other location. He still oversees it, his brother works there, but this has been his full-time job and will continue to be his full-time business, that he wants to be there all the time.
Yes.
Got it. And that was what I sort of understood from reviewing the materials. And then what about, I also noticed on the employment history, ASNS LLC. Can you tell me, CFM, can you tell me a little bit about that?
About what?
What is that?
Oh, ANSN.
Yeah.
It's my family is like A from my son Antonio, S as Chanel, and Niveen, S as me, Cesar.
And what is the purpose of that business that you have there? Is that just like a private trust, or is that just what is that?
Which one? ANS?
Yeah.
It's the LLC, the one.
Not that, she's not asking about ASNS, your other company.
SHSP?
Yeah.
You talk about SHSP LLC?
I think so.
Okay,
Oh, the other one or?
I'm confused.
ASNS is the applicant here. That's the ownership entity
Okay.
for this. He has another entity with similar initials, just
SHSP LLC?
Okay.
You're talking about that one?
And what is the purpose of that business?
It's the liquor store.
Okay, that's Crystal's,
Yeah, that's Crystal Liquor.
Crystal's Liquor.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Thrift Foods, that's no longer, you're not there anymore, or that's a separate entity as well?
The thrift food is the one I'm buying from my uncle, which is I'm
Okay.
gonna change it to Craig Food Mart.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, and I think I thought okay, is that just like a holding it just listed separate interests and positions that you currently have. So I just wanted to make sure I understood all your current businesses that you have. So it's essentially the place you're purchasing from your uncle, and then you have the Crystal's Liquor Shop. Those are your only two business functions.
Yeah. Crystal Liquor is mine and thrift food, which is gonna be Craig Food, I'm purchasing from my uncle.
Okay, and you have not ever been licensed by us before, is that correct?
With the gaming, no, only key employee.
Only Camp Rock, okay. And can you tell us a little bit about the financing arrangement you have with your uncle to purchase this?
We do it as like payment, monthly payment for around 4.5 years, 5 years. And my uncle really, he was having problem always with the landlord. So the landlord, he was telling me straight in my face. He was saying, you know what, like if your uncle will continue to take the business, I won't give him a new lease. So I talked to him, like I tell the landlord, I say, but like I think the situation, he say, no, I don't want your uncle to be here anymore. Like I say, what if I buy the business? He said, if you buy the business, it's okay. I will help you to pass it. Like for you, I will do it because you are here all the time. My uncle is in California. He's in California and he's like close to 7 years old.
Okay, so he's essentially retiring. You're taking over, you have been taking over and operating the business, it sounds like, for well over 10 years.
Yeah, he's like, and my uncle, he's tired and he was like worried if the landlord, he won't give him another chance for lease or something like that.
Got it.
So he told me, you know what, I think I will sell it.
And how many employees do you have that assist you in both of these locations, especially the market?
In both of them?
Yeah.
Let me count. Around 9 or 10 employees.
And that's at Craig Food Mart or total?
On both of them.
On both total?
Yeah.
Okay. And how many at Craig Food Mart?
And Craig Food Mart, there is 5.
5, okay. And you're overseeing and going to both of these stores daily?
No.
No.
No, on Craig Food, maybe like 5-6 days a week, I mean, and then the other one, it might be a little bit time like after work.
Got it.
Not every day, of course.
I appreciate that explanation. Those are my
you're welcome.
Questions. Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Brown, just to be clear, there has not been an SRO at this location since 2017. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And I think all three of us were trying to get the same thing. How has technical issues, update issues, mechanical issues, everything been dealt with for the past 8 years? And I believe you answered that by saying you've had different, for lack of a better word, service technician companies, non-SROs, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How old are the machines?
I think I was seeing them that day, like it's one of them is 2007 and the one is 2013. I can't remember, but I remember I took a picture with the one you asked me for the plate of them.
Right.
Yeah, right. It's like 2013, 2009, 2007, something like that.
How much play do the machines get? Are they pretty steady? Is it certain shifts, days?
Sorry, what's the question?
How much play do people come in and play the gaming devices?
Maybe let's say a few hours the whole day, a few hours a day.
And if you needed to replace one that got old, that's going to be 20 years old, how would you go about that?
I will call a company and buy a new one and sell them the old one. And if the company do the paperwork for the gaming, they will do it. If not, I will call the gaming to let them know I have a new machine.
When was the last time you know that there had to be a new machine replaced out? Are they the same that you've been there? I think you said you've been there since 2010?
Since 2010, but those like until 2017, there was the
That was an
machine.
SRO.
Was not,
Okay.
yeah, belonged to the company.
So these machines were all put in 2017,
Something, yeah.
but they're the same machines that have been in there the whole time.
Yes, I think except one. Except one of them, they changed it a few years ago, I think.
Mr. Brown, explain what happens if the commission imposes this condition that we're speaking about regarding requiring an SRO for at least a year. What happens to these devices that are currently in the location?
The applicant would work with gaming and figure out a suitable manner for them to be stored and sign a new contract with an SRO and submit it right away. And we've already submitted the paperwork for the transfer of interest for the existing machines.
Appreciate that. Chief Rippey, I understand why investigations normally requires this condition. Having heard everything that you've heard on the record about Mr. Shoshani being in the location as the key employee for the past 15 years, and these machines being in there for the past 8 years, correct? Do you believe that the condition is required? Is this something that technology should get involved in regarding doing an audit of the devices that are in there? Anything you can enlighten us on would be welcome.
I know the restricted team is comfortable with the condition being waived. I think his record of being there for a long time and the fact that the location has not had any regulatory issues speaks volumes about that condition being waived.
All very good points. Mr. Brown, you mentioned that you'd taken photos of the serial numbers on the devices. Do we know if technology has been out there and looked at them?
I don't believe they have, but we would certainly welcome that. And if there's a need to upgrade them, he certainly would. He really, it's not about upgrading the machines as much. He'd like to not have to share the profits. He knows the business.
Yeah, completely understand sharing the profits. And as noted, you advised our restricted staff that he would have to store the existing machines while the SRO brought in their machines for a year or however long it takes. So there's a cost involved with that, as well as securing gaming devices for a year, which always concerns us. So Chief Rippey, do we usually put on a condition, or do we have a condition for technology to go out and do an audit before machines are put in place? It's the same machines that have been put in place for 8 years. I don't know what the audit would do, but having technology go look at them certainly give me a little bit of comfort.
Yeah, typically we don't have a condition like that. I would think you'd be allowed to create one if that would give you more comfort.
Why don't we do this? I want to hear from my colleagues, but I'm comfortable based on what Chief Rippey has said about there's been no compliance issues. Mr. Shoshani has been in this location as a key employee for 15 years. These devices are the same devices. So as you pointed out, Mr. Brown, this condition is usually for new owners as they take over.
And can I add
Please.
one point? My client just told me they do come out and view the machines at least once a year already. So they have been investigated in the last year.
Like almost once a year, they came from the gaming, they check the devices. So if there's something wrong, they tell me like this board, it has to be changed. Because a few years ago, there was something wrong with the Buffalo board. And they asked me, I called the AA slot operator, and they get me a new one and we change it. I send it to them, they came, checked it, and it was okay. So like they came almost once a year, the gaming control board.
That's pretty good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
That's a better audit cycle than I thought we were on to restricted locations. So we got a couple options here, Mr. Brown. My colleagues may want some condition about having technology go out. unless maybe they have been out there recently, or if they can tell me they can get out there. So we could either put a condition like that being recommended to the commission, or if you want to trail this for a few minutes, we'll get somebody from technology to come over here and tell us when the last time they were out at the location, and maybe tell us if they can get out to the location before the commission meeting.
Whatever you want. He's very agreeable to having them come out. And if it makes anyone feel more comfortable that they come out fresh, we'd welcome that opportunity.
Why don't we trail this then? We'll go ahead and take a couple other items. I'll ask somebody to give technology a phone call and see if we can get Deputy Chief Lastusky or somebody over here with knowledge of when this location was last audited and whether or not they can also get out there before the commission meeting. And so we'll just take this item back up in a few minutes. That makes sense?
That'd be wonderful. I just say I have a commitment at the county commission at 1 o'clock. If I could be out of here to get to there by 1 o'clock would be wonderful.
I hope you're out of here by 1 o'clock.
To be there by 12:30, so I could be there at 1 would be wonderful.
We plan on being out of here by then too. So
Thank you.
no, we'll bring you back up as soon as we can. Luckily, our office is just across the parking lot. So
Thank you.
We'll get somebody over here quick. Thank you. All right, Madam Secretary, let's go ahead and read in restricted item number 5.
Restricted number 5 is the application of Joseph Yonan LLC doing business as Joe's Martin Smokes for a restricted gaming license, and the application of Claudia Alcassionan for licensure as a member and manager.
Good morning still, Mr. Donato.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Madam Secretary. Jeff Donato, enrolled agent. Here with me today is the applicant, Mrs. Alcassionan. With your permission, Mr. Chairman, just give a brief overview of kind of how we got here today.
I think we might even be able to save some time on that.
Perfect. That'd be great.
2 of us were here when we chatted with Ms. Alcassionan, correct? Alcassionan, 2 years ago. And we had a very lengthy discussion, and you were very open in where you were at. Our general concern is that you were going to have to finance part of this business on credit cards. And our concern was that we wanted to help you succeed. We know you had other businesses, but this business was going to take some tender loving care. And I think I probably would have mentioned to you, I haven't read the transcript, but I'm sure I said to you, we hope to see you in 2 years and hope that it's a wonderful success story. And you're sitting in front of us to tell you how great things are going. So why don't you tell us how great things are going 2 years later?
Yes. I think everything is really great. For the past 2 years, since last time I was here, things are going like good. I know I'm getting used to the new place and everything, but I think everything's going great.
Good. And it's my understanding when we chatted 2 years ago that you talked about doing some, I won't say remodeling from a construction standpoint, but some upgrading and some refreshing of the property. And we're going to have help, I believe, from your husband was going to do some of that. Did that all occur?
Yes.
And what did you do to the store?
The tile, we didn't want to remove it. My husband said it looks great. We just need to, I think he has this machine that he polish everything. Our shelves, we painted. We paint a little bit of the walls. We don't have much of a walls like really there, but we painted whatever was there. We're still looking to do the register area, the counters, but we kind of just clean it up for now, but we will change that also.
That's great. And our agents have told us that it looks much more brightened up and refreshed. So glad to hear it.
Yes, I mean, customers are really saying that. They said we haven't seen a clean store like this one.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
And how about your finances? How are your finances doing overall?
I did pay the credit cards that were, I had equity line of credit that was, for a lot less interest. So I paid those off. I paid all my taxes and I'm making payment for that.
Great to hear. And we were also concerned about your tax payments, and you made some promises to us on how quick you were going to get those paid off, and sounds like you did it. So
Yes.
I am very happy to be here 2 years later and hearing about your success story. That's exactly what we wanted to see. We told you at the time that it was not to punish you. It was just for us to help you and for you to come back to where we sit today. So very happy that you're here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Judge?
Thank you, Chairman Hendricks. Congratulations. You've done a great job, and I knew you would 2 years ago, so I echo the chairman's comments as well. So we're very happy to see you being successful. Any plans for maybe opening up another store?
Not at the moment.
Okay. You
I'm
got your hands
helping
full?
my kids to do something else.
Say that again?
I'm helping my kids at the moment to, every one of them kind of wants something. My son just have his restaurant for 2 years and he's been doing great. And he's only 23.
Oh, wow.
And,
Very
and
good.
my oldest one is working for a company. He might be getting a share of that. So
you got a
I'm kind of
got
gonna
a lot
stop
on
at
your
the
plate.
moment.
Your hands are full.
Yes,
Very good. I don't have any questions or concerns. I'm happy to support your application.
thanks a lot.
Member Sendall?
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for being here. I was not here and I did not get to meet you 2 years ago, but I did get a chance to review the transcripts and kind of the exchange between you and the board members and also the commission members at that time. And are reviewing your report here. It seems you've made huge strides towards improvement and just what a great success of showing what these conditions and coming back can do. It sounds like your store has been, you have 2 stores as
Yes.
well, right? And then you also have Hyatt Market as well?
Yes.
And Joe's Market. And I guess just a little bit on your background then on how are you spending your time now at those 2 stores and what's your employees, how many employees do you have and what's just your daily life like?
I have 4 employees at each location. Actually, it's like more like 4 or 5 hours in each, plus like the shopping. I do most of the shopping for the businesses. So I'm in and out.
Understood. 4 or 5 hours at each one each day?
Yes.
Okay. So you're pretty involved and pretty busy then.
Yeah, sometimes even weekend if I have to, like
And you did kind of put on the record that did you pay your taxes already for
yes.
last year? Great. And no new liens or anything and everything else is good.
And if I could please just point out,
Oh, yeah.
and with regards to paying taxes, I think it's important to note that for tax year 2024, she has a credit balance of about 48,000. So in addition to paying off any prior taxes, she also has that credit balance for this upcoming or for this tax year of 2024.
That's wonderful. That's a nice little cushion there for you. No, I enjoyed reading the materials and I'm happy to see that everything's been turned around in a positive direction. And congratulations on your family's success as well and your success, and I'm happy to support your application.
Thank you so much.
Again, this is exactly what a limited license is intended to do in these certain circumstances, and very glad to see that it works. So congratulations to you, and I would entertain a motion on restricted item number 5.
Thank you, Chairman Hendrick. I'll make that motion. I move that we recommend to the Nevada Gaming Commission approval of restricted agenda item number 5 as read into the record by Secretary Nicole Rupert.
Madam Secretary.
Member Assad?
Aye.
Member Sendall?
Aye.
Chairman Hendrick?
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you
Congratulations.
so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. I'd like to thank Senior Agent Lombardo for all his work on this application.
Thank you. Deputy Chief Allen, I assume we're still waiting on technology, right? Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and take, Madam Secretary, restricted item number 6.
Restricted number 6 is the application of Nevada Restaurant Services, Inc., doing business as Dottie's number 20 for a restricted gaming license.
Good morning, Mr. Smith. We appreciate you sitting through our meeting this morning. Normally, we would have put this on a consent agenda, but as you know, there is a church within a vicinity that usually causes us under Reg 3 to have to ask questions on the record. So
Yes.
if you want to address that, please feel free.
Yes, good morning, Chair Hendrick, Judge Assad, Member Sendall, Executive Secretary Rupert. My name is Cannon Smith, and I'm General Counsel for Nevada Restaurant Services, Inc. I'm before you today on restricted item number 6, which is NRSI's application for Dottie's number 20. NRSI would like to thank Senior Agent Aubrey Wilson for excellent work on this application. And as you mentioned, Chair, in speaking with Agent Wilson, she asked that we have a discussion about Regulation 3.010. NRSI would submit that this location is suitable under Regulation 3.010 based on a handful of points. First, the location is located in a commercial inline shopping center and is zoned C1 commercial, which is mentioned as a relevant factor in subsection 1 of Regulation 3.010. Additionally, a conditional use permit was obtained for this location, which included a hearing and an appeal period, and there were no parties against it at the hearing or during the appeal period. Additionally, under Sparks Code, this use, the bar with restricted gaming, requires a separation of 500 feet from a church. This location meets that requirement, and we would think that it's reasonable for the Gaming Control Board to take that into account, that it meets the local jurisdiction's separation from a church. Additionally, I believe that we can find some support for the suitability of this location when we look at subsection 2 of the reg as well, or specifically the inverse of subsection 2. Subsection 2 provides that premises located in a place where gaming is contrary to a valid zoning ordinance of any county or city may be deemed unsuitable. Because this location meets the zoning requirements, I think it would add support to why it is suitable. And finally, if you remember, in November of last year, we were in front of you in Carson with Ms. Graziano about a distance separation. At that time, it was from a school. And she made a point to say that the company historically has no issues, hasn't ever had issues with minors. And similarly here, there are several locations that are close to churches. There are locations that are in the same shopping center as churches. And historically, we've never had any issues with any churches in those situations. So on the totality of those points, we would submit that the location is suitable for gaming under Regulation 3.010.
Thank you for that, Mr. Smith. And as you know, in GC Regulation 3.010, it's the applicant's burden to go through exactly what you just went through, to identify factors that meets the requirements that the proximity is suitable under Nevada gaming policy, Nevada state policy. And only other question I had was, does your organization actively try to reach out to churches or schools within proximity, or is it usually part of the zoning process that you mentioned when you got the conditional use permit?
Historically, it's been based on getting the use permit, but in applications that have been filed more recently, because this is an issue that's come up or become a little more risen to the surface, I guess, with the board and commission, it is now part of our process that if there is a church or school, before we begin the process of establishing a lease for the location and doing all those things, that we will be making contact with those parties, or attempting to at least.
Good. That's great to hear, because that's usually one of my questions is, have they been tried to contact them? Did they contact you? Did you try to contact them? I will say for the record that our agents did try to contact the church, but we did not get a response. So to me, that negative response is a response, because if they had a concern, they would have showed up at the zoning hearing, or they would have responded to our agents. So I take all of that, and as well as everything that you put on the record, personally, I think you've met that burden, and I'm comfortable. I'm also comfortable because it's across the street, and that barrier provides comfort to me. And with all of that, I'm prepared that I would move forward today. So thank you for that. Of course, I want to hear from my colleagues. Judge.
Thank you, Chairman Hendricks. Nice to see you again, Mr. Smith. I'm in line with the chair on this. At the bottom of page little I, it says staff reached out to the church, but no response has been received as of the time of this report. And I believe they still haven't responded. Aubrey Wilson was the senior agent, and Supervisor Allen. Have we received anything from the church that you're aware of? Yeah, that I'm comfortable then moving forward and approving this application.
Thank you.
Member Sendall.
Yeah, thank you. Just to add on that point too, it was brought to our attention. Is it correct that when the city of Sparks they had a workshop on this, there was no one, opposed or said anything against this location for the church? If you can add anything on that point.
That's
specifically.
correct.
Okay.
There was nobody from the church or anywhere else.
Any member of the public.
Correct.
And those City of Sparks workshops are generally noticed to the public and the surrounding area of wherever this area of concern.
That's correct, Member Sindall.
Thank you. Thank you. And then my understanding is you're still planning to open up at the end of May in this location?
Yes, that's the current plan.
All right. Well, thank you for that explanation, putting that on the record. I'm happy to support for all the reasons that have been stated by fellow board members and yourself that you've made a sufficient showing of suitability. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then I would entertain a motion on restricted number 6.
Thank you, Chairman Hendricks. I'll make that motion. Move that we recommend to the Nevada Gaming Commission approval of restricted agenda item number 6 as read into the record by Secretary Nicole Rupert.
Madam Secretary.
Member Assad?
Aye.
Member Sindall?
Aye.
Chairman Hendrick?
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. All right, I see Deputy Chief Les Tusky. Why don't you step forward, Deputy Chief? I know we called you kind of flat-footed today. Madam Secretary, we're back on restricted item number 4. Yeah. For the record, we are back on restricted item number 4, application restricted gaming license at Craig Food Mart. Mr. Les Tusky, I'm gathering that investigations probably told you there's a location at 4725 East Craig Road that the machines are owned by the current owner of that location. It does not have a slot route operator, but we've been informed that it has a company that deals with maintenance of the machines when necessary. Enlighten us a little bit on, if you know, how recently would we have had technology agents out there to look at that location? Or if it hasn't been to your knowledge in recent time, how quickly could we get somebody out there for the purposes of just being sure that the machines are adequately approved?
Sure. For the record, John Lastusky, Lastusky. I'm the Deputy Chief of the Board's Technology Division. Our current policy is to inspect all restricted locations within a 3-year window. This particular one was last inspected on October 30th of 2023.
Good. So it's been we're coming up on a year and a half. How quickly could we get somebody out there, with the commission meeting being in 2 weeks? Could we get somebody out there next week to do the review that you're talking about? And how long does that approximately take if you send an agent out there?
We could absolutely get somebody out there on Monday. Our technician teams aren't able to do inspections on Friday, but we could certainly get it on the schedule for Monday. In terms of the time it would take, it would be a matter of hours, if that. Our records show we only inspected 4 machines when we were last out there. I'm not sure if that's the current machine count or not, but that's something that they would probably be able to do within 30 minutes to an hour.
I believe there's 5, so maybe at that time one of them was down.
Okay.
So there might have been.
Chairman, there's
Oh, we're at 7. So maybe there were 3 of them down back then. So here's what I would recommend. The question, Deputy Chief Lastusky, was whether or not this location needed to have a SRO service agreement for at least a year because it's a new owner, but the current applicant is been the key employee at this location. So then the discussion arose on whether or not if there wasn't a SRO put in place for a certain amount of time, which is usually a learning experience for a new owner, the question is, can we go look at these machines? Because there was some testimony that some of them might be as old as 2007, and we don't know about the others. So it'd be great to have an update that you could give to the board members as well as to the commission before their meeting.
Yeah, that won't be a problem.
Okay, great. Thank you. Mr. Brown, Mr. Shoshone, please step up to the chairs here. I would be comfortable with not including the condition, but I would ask that the technology division get out there. Deputy Chief Lastuski said that could happen next week. Here's what I would advise you on. I hope the machines are all in good working order. I hope they're all up to date. I hope that the technology division will figure out why we inspected 4 versus October 23, why there wasn't 7 operating. And my guess is, Mr. Brown, you'll be able to give an update to the commission, and therefore there wouldn't be a need for a condition because I'm advising technology division to get out there next week. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. And thank you very much. And thank technology for making the time to do that next week. That's very, very kind of them.
Great. Then I would entertain a motion on restricted item number 4.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Hendricks. I move that we recommend to the Nevada Gaming Commission approval of restricted agenda item number 4 as read into the record by Secretary Nicole Rupert.
Madam Secretary.
Member Assad?
Aye.
Member Sandal?
Aye.
Chairman Hendrick?
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you all very much. And we'd also like to thank Agent Raybold. She was wonderful working with on this application.
Great. We'll see you in front of the commission. Thank you. All right, Madam Secretary, what does that bring us to now? I think 7 was on consent. So are we on number 8?
Yes.
All right, please read in number 8.
Restricted number 8 is the application of Eclipse Route Operations LLC doing business as ECL Gaming doing business at Lucky's 7 Lounge for a restricted gaming license.
Good morning, Mr. Donato.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Madam Secretary. Jeff Donato, enrolled agent. Here today, in the event you may have some questions for him, is Mr. Winchell. There is some zoning history on this location. If you would like, I could walk you through that zoning history, or we'd be glad to go to right to questions, whatever you prefer.
Yeah, thank you. The reason why we wanted to have a conversation today, and Mr. Winchell, we appreciate you sitting through 2 days of our meeting. You've sat through us with the whole thing. Mr. Moran, we wanted to understand how the zoning worked on this. So if you have an update on that, please explain to us what happened.
Sure. So as a way of background, approximately 20 years ago, this location was a supper club per the city of Henderson. And the supper club designation allowed the operation of 15 gaming devices. In approximately 2013, the zoning liquor codes in the city of Henderson were amended to eliminate the supper club designation, and all existing supper clubs were reclassified as restaurants with bars. Since this location had 15 gaming devices, it was deemed a legal non-conforming use because the restaurant with bars were limited to 5 machines. It's my understanding that the prior tenant PTs consistently operated for approximately 16 years as a legal non-conforming restaurant with bar that had 15 gaming devices. It's also my understanding that the lease between the prior tenant and the property owner expired, and the non-conforming restaurant with bar 15 gaming devices ceased operations. The city of Henderson requirement when a non-conforming use ceases operations is for a closure plan to be approved by city council to preserve the non-conforming use and business license to allow the 5 gaming devices at a restaurant with bar. Excuse me, that's correct. Non-conforming use and business license to allow more than 5 devices at a restaurant with bar. It's my understanding the closure plan was never done by the property owner, so the non-conforming use lapsed and was deemed abandoned. As a result, the applicant's land use attorney worked with the city of Henderson on the amendment to the existing master plan that would allow a tavern operation of 24 hours with 15 gaming devices to be conducted on the subject property. The amendment to the master plan was heard and recommended for approval by the City Planning Commission in October of 2024. In November of 2024, the amendment was heard and approved by City Council to allow a tavern by right, waive the required distance separation from 2 existing taverns, and to allow a tavern in a CN neighborhood commercial zoning district in Suite 101 of the subject property. With the approval of the amendment to the master plan, the application for a restricted gaming license that was originally filed with the GCB back in 2022 can now move forward. The location will be an approximately 3,586 square foot tavern to be known as Lucky Sevens that will have 15 gaming devices. The applicant anticipates the construction to be completed and the opening of the tavern to take place in May or June of this year. The SRO ECL Gaming is requesting approval to hold the restricted gaming license for the location and has entered into a space lease agreement with the business operator, Jackpot Joni's SA LLC, for the operation of the 15 gaming devices. All local business license applications, including applications for liquor and gaming licenses, were submitted with the city of Henderson on about March 5th of 2025, and they stand ready to be approved as soon as NGC's approval and the location passes its safety inspections. The applicant has reviewed and accepts the condition on the license for the inspection and approval of the surveillance system within 60 days of the issuance of the gaming license. And then that would conclude the presentation, and here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Donato. Excellent presentation and excellent explanation as to how we got here. We had that in our materials, but wanted it on the record, two, I wanted to understand a little bit because we don't dig this deep into zoning issues, but when they actually start getting over into you can't have 15 machines, that gets back over into our purview. So very interested in that. You learn something new every day. And I'm sure that Mr. Winchell and his company are happy that all these zoning issues worked out on the non-conforming uses that may have happened over time. As far as the application itself, I had no concerns at all. Just wanted to be sure we had that on the record today. So appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Judge, questions?
Thank you, Chairman. I don't have any concerns or questions. Thank you for that presentation. Very informative.
Member Sendall.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation and the explanation in the background. Are you still anticipating to open in May, like next month?
That's the intent.
Okay. Well, great. Well, I'm glad that you were able to get over this hurdle and unfortunate circumstances to create this, and happy to support your application.
Thank you.
All right, then I would entertain a motion on restricted item number 8.
Thank you, Chairman Hendrick. I'll be glad to make that motion. I move that we recommend approval to the Nevada Gaming Commission on restricted agenda item number 8 as read into the record by Secretary Nicole Rupert.
With the condition?
The condition that the surveillance system and or mirrors must be inspected and approved by the Nevada Gaming Control Board Enforcement Division within 60 days of issuance of the Nevada Gaming license and thereafter be maintained at or above the standard that is approved.
Madam Secretary.
Member Assad?
Aye.
Member Sendall?
Aye.
Chairman Hendrick?
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Senior Agent Lombardo for his patience on this application. It's been a long time in the system here, and we appreciate his hard work getting us back onto an agenda.
Good. Thank you. And thank you, gentlemen, for sitting through 2 days of our meeting. Madam Secretary, restricted number 9 was on our consent agenda, so I believe that's everything but our final public comment. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, then. Why don't you go ahead and read that into the record?
This item is placed on the agenda to give the public an opportunity to comment on gaming-related matters. As stated at the time of the public comment section at the beginning of the meeting, anyone wishing to address the board may do so at this time. Comments by each person are limited to 3 minutes as a reasonable time, place, and manner restriction. If board members ask questions of the speaker, the time needed to address those questions will not count against the speaker's 3-minute time period. If speakers have any handouts or written copies of verbal comments to provide for the record, please hand them to the enforcement agent in the room.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. An excellent job running the meeting from Carson City. The AV issues were absolutely perfect. From the AV team here at the LCB, as well as our technology division AV team, very good job. I thought the cameras moved in time well. The audio was wonderful. We didn't have any breaks. So thank you, Madam Secretary, and thank you to everybody else for making the teleconferencing work great today. Let's start in Carson City. Everybody line up one at a time. Okay. All right, then. How about in Las Vegas? Let's start a line here in Vegas. No pushing and shoving. Board members, anything you'd like to add for public comment?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to briefly say thank you to all the staff. And I know in preparing for this long 2-day meeting, it was a lot of questions and kind of a break in our preparations for this meeting on Tuesday. So thank you all for your patience and hard work and able to make this meeting go smoothly and finish before noon on our second day. So thank you all.
Thank you for that, Member Sendall. I absolutely agree. Congratulations and thank you to everybody for pulling off the first 2-day meeting we've had in probably 4 or 5 years. With that, I will conclude the meeting of April 2025, and we are adjourned.